When September ends, where will the Phillies and Marlins be this weekend? They're in Florida fighting for their wild card lives.
Jimmy Rollins night last night. The Marlins have won 18 of the last 24 from the Phillies when they're at home, but not last night. Jimmy Rollins getting it done. A two-run homer right there, number 9 of the season. And the Philadelphia Phillies really hanging in there.
Right, mathematical, the word the Mets live by. Still alive and kicking.
Mathematical.
The Braves last night.
Too late. How about all the cliches? What else can you think of?
Downer.
One game at a time.
Maybe you're a realist.
Mike Jacobs making an impression in the big league since he's come up. Pedro making an impression last night, just putting people away. His best performance of the year. Another shutout for Pedro. The Braves, though, don't have a whole lot to worry about, Jeannie. They have a 5-game lead with 14 to play.
All right, the past is past. The present is not pretty at Wrigley. You'll like this, Dark Cloud. Rivals for 107 years, and now this divisional bragging rights on the line, and the Cubs have to host if there is a celebration in the cards today on Fox. We welcome you inside the Fox Network Center. Jeannie's Alaska.
Good like that.
That's Kevin. It's Fox Saturday Baseball, your game of the week. FoxSports.com senior writer Ken Rosenthal will be joining us in just a bit. We'll dish the dirt. Let's face reality. Marathon that is the season has become a sprint.
It has. There's about 15, 16 games to go for most teams. And, you know, the wild card, you could start to eliminate a few teams. The Twins are pretty much done, obviously. The Mets, even though they have a great performance last night, they're done. But the wild card in the National League is very, very interesting. The Marlins and the Phillies battling it out this weekend. And how about the National League West?
Let's
the Dodgers and Giants are still, I know you didn't want.
That's enough.
She's a Padre fan.
Looking to complete a miracle comeback in the standings. It might take a miracle comeback on the field.
Here's a wild card team we didn't talk about.
Was done.
Nah, he's not done. They got him back. He's taking batting practice a couple of weeks ago. Biggio told me, hey, we need this guy back just off the bench to do exactly that. So the Astros are in first place in the wild card by a half a game. And Barry Bonds being back, Jeannie.
Yeah, you have to wonder what these standings in the aforementioned NLS would look like if this guy was playing regularly.
His first home run of the year. Yeah, of the year. Well, that's right. He just came back. Naturally. The Dodgers were tied up, though, in the 8th inning. Ricky Leday, a 2-run base hit. Only 2. Yes, I'm setting it up for the loss. Lose it in the 9th inning. Bloop base hit off Buenos Sanchez, and that would get it done. The Giants picked up the game they lost Thursday night, and therefore we go to the NLS.
Bring you the NLS standings with a disclaimer. Don't look if you can't stomach it.
All right, Jeannie. San Diego, what did they do last night?
They lost.
Didn't do very well.
Everybody loses. They face each other, at least one of them has to win.
You know, one of the biggest games of the year, the day Roger Clemens' mother passed away, Roger pitched and came back after they lost the first 2 games of a 4-game series to the Marlins. Roger came back and pitched that day. That's how he is, with the blessing of his mother. And our best wishes and condolences, Roger, obviously, to your mother and your family. But the Houston Astros maintain a half a game lead in the National League wild card, and largely because of Clemens, Pettit, and, of course, a big win last night.
Yeah, and the last thoughts of Roger's mom, she wanted to know if the Houston Astros had made it to the postseason.
She wanted him to go to work.
Absolutely. Yep. All right, let's move on to the other league. And Torrey Hunter broke his ankle in late July, and he may be breaking hearts in Minnesota this offseason. With his departure, Torrey, not his wish, but he's heard from the people he trusts he could be traded. We'll talk to people we trust in a little bit.
Johan Santana on the mound. His last 6 starts, got a 1.39 ERA. He is putting the Sox away right now. And the White Sox don't have this division done yet, mainly because the Cleveland Indians are on fire. Best record in baseball the last 3.5 months.
They're no longer surprising. If you're surprised at this point, you haven't been paying attention.
I tell you what, Jimmy, this is a very, very tough ball club. They got 9 guys in double figures in home runs. They got guys like Johnny Peralta, Casey Blake,
Grady Sizemore, 20th of the season, and they got Bob Whitman.
And one of the best bullpens in Major League Baseball, Bob Whitman, you're right, had arm injuries in the past year and a half, comes back with 42 saves. But as I said, 9 guys in double figures in home runs. They got guys that you probably never heard of. Johnny Peralta is one guy you don't hear a lot about, but Omar Vizquel was let go via free agency to San Francisco. He steps in at shortstop, probably going to have 25 to 27 home runs before it's all said and done. This guy's been phenomenal in the middle of that lineup, but they've got speed at the top, they got power, they got balance, they got good defense, and congratulations to Aaron Boone coming back and surviving and having a good second half, too.
All right, with Randy Johnson, it's about, the intimidation, fear of the unknown, that anytime he could snap look, that keeps others in line. It has worked for when he's facing opponents, not umpires, Kevin.
That 1-1 count makes a big difference there. 1-2 versus 2-1. Missed the pitch right there, and he had to come back inside, and Vernon Wells gets a 3-run home run. Second inning, same pitch. Left-handed pitcher going on the inside corner there.
It's brewing now.
Ball had to cross the plate, says Randy Johnson. I do agree. Phil Colbert, normally a good ball strike umpire behind the plate, but I think he did miss a couple calls. Nonetheless, if you're Randy Johnson, he knows that. He can't get kicked out in a big game. But Robinson Cano has had huge games for him the last couple of nights. A-Rod, one of the leading candidates for MVP, and the Yankees have to bring Mariano Rivera in a ball game when they had an 11-3 lead to 11-10 to get the final out.
All right, what went down with the Red Sox? Well, we're catching up with them right now. Top 4 at the A's in town.
Johnny Damon booting it right there with a two-hand grab. Didn't happen. 2-1 ball game in the 6th. David Ortiz, a lot of people's leading candidate for MVP, would tie it once again, only to go 10 innings.
Yeah, so they don't pitch to David in the 10th.
Well, that's the thing about Ortiz, or pick your poison with Ortiz and Ramirez, and you don't want to pitch to either one of them, so you might as well hit them.
But you probably, yeah, I was thinking there might be a better game plan than that.
Yeah,
might be a better plan for the Angels than to fall down early.
Gee, they needed a big one last night from Lackey. They didn't get it early, but the good news is Vladdy Guerrero played yesterday.
I thought he was day to day.
He's night to night, inning to inning, but he played last night and had 3 big hits. And in the 12th inning, Rob Quinlan, who's been big for the Angels down the stretch here, a big victory of the base hit to win it.
Big sigh of relief.
Yes, sir. And we take, yes, ma'am, I should say. Take a look at the AL East and West. Boston hanging on there 1.5 games over the New York Yankees. That's going to come down to the end of the season. Obviously, they play each other 3 more times to go to the wild card right here. Cleveland maintaining pace over the New York Yankees. Looks like the Oakland A's, 4 games out, it's going to be tough. I think in the American League West, it's going to come down to one team going home, either the Angels or the A's. A 2-team wild card race right now. And don't forget, the Yankees still have a shot at winning the division as well.
Absolutely. Still add the 162-game schedule. Tough enough, let alone to expect even one divisional title. Someone needs to solve the mystery that is the Braves. We've got the man for the job and the men in the know. There's, of course, Kevin Kennedy. And, as promised, Ken Rosenthal coming in. You want the scoop? He's got it if he's got time for us. Like the Dodgers front office, feeling blue, changing of the guard for the pinstripes. A lot coming up. Did you hear it? The MVP chant? Yep.
Yeah, I did.
Johnson for greatness. The Braves have got you covered, and they make it look so easy. Truth be told, Atlanta doesn't get enough credit. Sure, their World Championship Cup doesn't runneth over, but in a game of few secrets, the Braves have something mysterious going on, and there's only one way to get to the bottom of it. 13 straight division titles and counting. The faces may change, but the results are always the same. You don't have to be Sherlock Holmes to figure out the secret of the Braves' success, or do you?
Jeannie, it's elementary.
Maybe it's the pitching. You don't have to look hard to see the Braves staff has dominated for the last 15 years. Preparation, steady rocking, knowing when to use the bullpen. What's Leo Mazzoni's secret?
You always have great talent to win. That's the bottom line. With Bobby Cox as the best manager probably in the history of the game, and the best manager to handle a pitching staff year in, year out in the history of the game.
Aha! It's elementary, dear Watson.
Here's a clue. He's faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than an 18-wheeler, able to leap outfield walls in a single bound. Look into center field. It's Andrew Jones.
NL MVP, that's all I can say about him. You know, playing with him now for 2.5 months and seeing the plays he makes, the type of player he is for our team, it's unbelievable.
Brilliant!
And then there are the rookies. When the injuries hit, the rookies stepped in and stepped up as Jeff Francoeur led the charge.
He is a dynamic player. He's a great defensive player. He runs well. He's a guy, when he walks to the plate, you just feel like he could be a game changer real quick.
Great deduction. But, Bobby, you deserve some credit, too.
You know what? They always pitch good and they always play good defense. You know, I think those are the 2 things that you always see the Bobby Cox's team do well.
Well, that's a bloody good clue.
So, for all of those who thought the Braves would melt away, go down for the count, it's elementary. The Braves are here to stay.
I think she's got it.
Kevin's got a 2.
What's amazing, Jeannie, 14 straight divisional titles, that's going to happen. You got to go back almost 100 years. I mean, are you kidding me? When the New York had 3 teams, Ken Rosenthal knows that back in the day. New York Giants, New York Giants. No, but I'm saying it being from New York. I mean, people know that. I mean, this is amazing what the Braves have done. And I got to tell you, they're doing it with a bunch of young guys this year, surrounded by Chipper and Andrew Jones, who's come to the forefront with 50 home runs and 125 RBIs.
As you mentioned, Ken Rosenthal, FoxSports.com, joining us for some last licks, and we need this brain trust to figure out what's going on in Blue blue heaven. Talking about the Dodgers.
Jim Tracy is in a unique position of leverage, Jeannie. He is a guy that has a contract that enables him to have an out at the end of this year. And if the Dodgers don't give him an extension, he can become a leading candidate in any number of places. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Detroit, even Baltimore. So my understanding is that he is solidifying his position, and that could mean that the general manager, Paul DePodesta, is either losing his influence or perhaps is in trouble.
I think because of all the problems with the Dodgers this year, I don't think anybody's going anywhere. I think both guys will be back. I think Frank McCourt recognizes that this has been a unique and a kind of an ugly year for the Dodgers, but yet they're still in the pennant race. I don't think you opt out of your contract when you don't have a sure thing, and there's no sure thing in baseball.
All right, what about Brian Cashman coming back?
Hardly anyone in baseball thinks he's coming back, and the question is where he would end up. And Washington would probably be his first choice. They're going to change owners. There's been talk about Baltimore, but I can't see him wanting to work for Peter Angelos after working for George Steinbrenner. Philadelphia, Ed Wade looks safe. Seattle, Bill Bavasi looks safe. And Cashman, I think, would want to stay
I
east.
think in the long haul, too, I think Joe Torre may have done his best work this year. I really do. And if they finish off this division and actually win it, nobody's going anywhere. I think Brian stays. I think Joe Torre and Brian, they're both going to be there.
All right, you got to check your watch to decide which way you think the Red Sox are going right now. This time last week, everything was looking up. This time, not so much.
Absolutely. They've got some real physical concerns. Johnny Damon, that shoulder. And also, Gabe Kapler goes out this week, so there's no backup. Keith Foulke, he's tipping his changeup. He's slowing his body down.
Schilling.
And Kurt Schilling wasn't himself the other night.
Yeah, this is not as strong a ball club as a year ago. That's why they're only a game and a half lead over the Yankees right now. It's wide open still for the division.
All right, we touched on it earlier. Torrey Hunter putting his house up for sale. How do we read this?
I don't think we should read too much into it. I don't think the Twins can trade Torrey Hunter. He is the face of that franchise. He's the leader of that team, the toughest guy they have. Theoretically, they could replace him with Lou Ford. Wouldn't be a good idea.
I agree with you. You build around a Torrey Hunter. This guy was a former #1 pick. He came up to the organization. He's got the personality and the character, and you know how much they miss him. I mean, just his personality, for people that know him, that's what they miss about Torrey Hunter.
And Marlins fans have seen enough of this. They're missing
couple of shortstops, yeah.
Yes, we're getting tired of this. So what do we do with the shortstop situation for the good kids from Florida?
Well, right now they're down to a 21-year-old out of AA. His name is Robert Andino, and they actually could make a trade for the final 2 weeks just to get somebody to get them through. They had a guy at AAA, Wilson Delgado, who could have been the fill-in, but he flunked 2 steroid tests, suspended again.
That'd be a bad thing.
Taboo, yeah.
All right, well, let's talk about wild cards. Apparently, we're not adding any more, much to the chagrin of the good kids from the NL East and I guess the West as well, which no one wants to give them division anymore, yes?
Right. I spoke with Commissioner Bud Selig this week, and he said he's comfortable with 8. He doesn't want 2 more, and you can understand that. Why would you even go any further? Because this has been such a great pennant race.
Yeah, I think 8 teams out of 30 going to the postseason is enough. I don't like to see 2 wild cards. Let's reward the division winners for a change. Even the San Diego Padres, should they win.
Well, they are talking about possibly penalizing
You're
the
wanting to blow out the NL West, aren't you?
No, I'm not, no.
All right. As the baseball season looks to October, Fox NFL Sunday just getting started to heat up. Week 2 of the best NFL pregame show in the biz. JV, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy take a look how to stop Michael Vick and Pam Oliver. Stop the hottest coach in the game, Jim Mora. Fox NFL Sunday returns tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, right here on Fox. And, of course, a reminder, the Major League Baseball family in support of American Red Cross wants you to call 1-800-HELP-NOW or log on to www.redcross.com. Of course, we're talking about the support for those affected by Hurricane Katrina. All right, we need to get you out to your ball game. The Cardinals have the division. Now Greg Maddux gets to work on his project. How about 18 consecutive seasons with 15 or more wins? Another day, another wild card contender for the Marlins to tackle, only this time it's on their own turf as the Phillies take a ride on the D train. And it's a subway that takes the Braves into shade, closer to their destiny of 14 straight division titles. Fox Saturday Baseball, sponsored by Chevy and American Revolution.
The Philadelphia Phillies and the Florida Marlins. 148 games. 1 game apart in the ultra-competitive National League East. While a division title is somewhat of a long shot, most of the intensity centers on the wild card. They are 2 of 4 teams battling it out for the final ticket to October. The Fox Saturday Game of the Week is next. Fans enter here at Dolphin Stadium. They said all year long it would be a dogfight in this National League East, and it has been. Coming down to the final 2 weeks, both the Phillies and the Florida Marlins still in it behind the Atlanta Braves. But even more importantly, if you take a look at the wild card race in the National League, both these teams right in the heart of it, as 4 teams are separated by 2.5 games with 2 weeks to go.
A
everyone. Scott Graham along with Tommy Hutton. We've got a big ball game today. The Phils coming off a big victory here last night over Florida. They've now won 5 out of 6 against the Marlins. And a big part of the reason why, Hut, is because Jimmy Rollins, sitting up at the top of the order, has just scalded Florida this year.
Well, I tell you what, Scott, if the Marlins have to find a way to beat the Phillies, they got to find a way to stop Jimmy Rollins. This little shortstop against the Marlins has 3 straight 3-hit games. He's hitting over 440. He has 32 base hits on the year against Florida. However, the one guy he struggled against, Dontrelle Willis, he's 8 for 35, hitting .229.
You take a look at Rollins over the course of the last 9 games. How about .538 on the batting average and 15 runs scored? Now, Willis is the guy who's got the ball today, and he has been the guy who has been the stopper all year long for the Marlins. He's won 6 straight starts.
Well, he has been that. I'll tell you what, Dontrelle Willis, 7 complete games, has 5 shutouts on the year. In his last 6 games, the D-Train, as they like to call him here in South Florida, is 6-0, has an ERA of 1.41. Did we tell you he could hit? He can hit. As a matter of fact, he's batting 8th today in the lineup.
So something different for the Marlins here today as they try to get a big victory over the Phillies. And it's going to be a matchup of 2 guys who went to the same high school and grew up a stone's throw from one another in Oakland. That's right, 4 years apart, Dontrelle Willis and Jimmy Rollins. And that will be the first matchup you see this afternoon. Here in South Florida, it's the Phillies and the Florida Marlins coming up next. Stadium in Miami, beautiful day for a ball game here today in South Florida as the Phils and the Marlins go at it here today. And here's a look at the starting lineup for the Phillies, brought to you by Taco Bell. Jimmy Rollins, how about .431 against Florida this year? He's sitting on a 22-game hitting streak. He's got some hot hitters behind him. Also, the Phils go with a right-handed hitting lineup. Ryan Howard sits today. Ramon Martinez in at first base against this starting left-hander, Dontrelle Willis, who has the ball today for the Marlins.
Dontrelle Willis trying to pick up a major league leading 22nd win this afternoon. He's pitched tremendously in day baseball. 6-1 with a 2.05 ERA in the hot Florida sunshine. Dontrelle Willis, this is what you look at on the scouting report. He's been consistent with that delivery. He's been able to repeat it. As a hitter, you see elbows and kneecaps, 21 and 21. He has 21 wins. He has 21 base hits.
And here's his old buddy from the playground growing up, Jimmy Rollins, to face off with him. Rollins had another incredible night last night. Another 3-hit game with a home run, a double, and 4 RBIs and 4 runs scored. And Willis starts him with a fastball outside. Rollins 8 out of 35 lifetime against his old friend Willis. And the Phillies came into today's game with Rollins up at top and everybody else wondering which type of game was Willis bringing. They've seen the hard fastball this year. They've seen him throw a lot of off-speed stuff. It's fastballs early, and he's falling behind Jimmy Rollins 3-0.
A lot of that depends on what he has working for him early in the game. Sometimes he'll go with that 2-seam fastball, get a lot of ground ball outs. He'll go with the slider at times, and he'll mix in a changeup.
32 hits against the Marlins this season. Only 1 player in baseball has more against the team. Carl Crawford, 35 for the Devil Rays against the Yankees this year. And the count back to 3-2 as Rollins fouls that one off.
You know, we might add the Yankees and Rays are through playing each other, so Jimmy Rollins with a couple more games against the Marlins.
Rollins has been working deep counts during the course of this long hit streak. And the Phillies want to make Dontrelle work today. On the ground, and the kid shortstop Andino makes the first play of the game. That's 1 down here in the first inning. Defensively for the Marlins, Andino is out there at shortstop, and here's the way they look defensively. Mike Lowell, the best all-time fielding percentage at third base, back in at third. That moves Cabrera out to left field, Conine over to right field. And the other big key there, Hud, is that Paul LeDuc is back behind the plate.
Boy, it's nice for a 21-year-old getting a start this afternoon. Robert Andino to get that first ground ball out of the way.
Jason Michaels looks at a strike. Michaels part of a center field platoon that has done a terrific job this year for the Phillies. Kenny Lofton's been red hot hitting from the left side.
You know it's a good platoon when you get 5 hits and you sit the next day. Kenny Lofton had a 5-hit game last night.
And fouled back by Michaels. There's Lofton coming off the 5-hit evening last night. He was white hot in the beginning of the season. Kind of cooled off in the middle of the summer. He has gotten once again so hot. And Michaels has gotten kind of reduced playing time. You can see what he's done against left-handers. That one missed outside, 2-2.
Well, a couple of guys in the Phillies lineup that have hit lefties extremely well. Michaels one, David Bell being the other.
Crowd very much behind Dontrelle Willis. And Michaels hits a laser shot to third base, but Lowell, the short-handed one at third, throws him out for out number 2.
Well, you talked about the lifetime fielding percentage of Mike Lowell. He's made just 6 errors this year. There is no question it's been a struggle for Mike Lowell offensively this year, but defensively he's played Gold Glove third base.
Last year just 7 errors. That was a record. And he makes that play for out number 2. So Bobby Abreu, the hitter now, with 2 down and the bases empty. Average at 300. You see the numbers. All the talk about Rollins shouldn't be lost in the fact that Bobby Abreu's hitting 10 straight, and he's hitting .469 in that span. That's the outside corner for strike 1.
Dontrelle Willis has had success against this Philadelphia ball club. 5-2 in his career, 3-1 this year.
3 times that he has faced them and beaten them, he has been very close to dominant. The one game that he's lost was back in July at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia. He got lit up for 8 runs and 10 hits in 5 2/3 innings. Little bouncer foul. And that was in the period of time, the only one really this year, in which Dontrelle has had a struggle right after the All-Star break.
Had a couple of bad outings right after the break, and then he settled in, and there were a lot of questions because in his short career coming into this year, he'd never pitched well after the All-Star break, but this year he's been tremendous. 8-4 after the break.
His rookie season, after 9-1 before the break, he was 5-5 with a high ERA in the second half. Almost got Abreu, just missed it outside. 2-2.
Dontrelle Willis energizes everyone that's in the ballpark. First of all, his teammates who play behind him, and I think you can get the feel of the crowd. He energizes the crowd as well.
Loves to work quickly. The 2-2 pitch. And he got him with the breaking ball. So 1-2-3 for Willis here in this first inning as he punches out Bobby Abreu. After 1/2, Phil's nothing. Florida Marlins coming up. Bottom half of the first inning coming up. And for the Florida Marlins, starting lineup brought to you by Taco Bell. Luis Castillo leading off. Juan Pierre back in the 2 spot, but that's not the big news today. How about Dontrelle Willis batting in the 8 spot, and why not? We'll take a look at what he has done over the course of the years. 3 career home runs. And he will be facing Vicente Padilla, who comes in with an 8-12 record on the year.
27-year-old right-hander missed a turn last week in the rotation, a rib injury, but he comes after hitters, and we'll take a look at the scouting report. He'll need to use that breaking ball. Sometimes he falls in love with the fastball a little bit too much. He has to keep the pace. When guys get on base, he has a tendency to slow things down, and we talked about the rib injury.
First pitch of the game to Castillo. That's in there for a strike. Luis Castillo 1 for 4 night last night, hitting at .295. Several games back, a couple of weeks ago now, the Marlins juggled their lineup, and Castillo pays dividends right there, right over the head of David Bell for a leadoff single.
Luis Castillo doesn't steal bases the way he once did, but he's a perfect leadoff man with that on-base percentage near 400. Takes a lot of pitches. But here's a perfect situation, Scott, of let's see what Vicente Padilla does with Castillo now at first base.
And with Juan Pierre at the plate, see the numbers are slightly down for Pierre this year. He spent a little time in the 7 spot. And now bounces back up to the number 2 spot for the 5th time this year.
For a good part of the year, Juan Pierre hitting the leadoff spot, 50 stolen bases, but doesn't have the lead, doesn't have that percentage on base that Luis Castillo does.
Pierre did a good job down in the 7 spot. 13 games there. Ended up hitting .304. Ball and a strike to Juan Pierre. These are 2 guys for Jack McKeon who can make things happen at the top of the order. And in this rivalry, when the Marlins have had success against the Phillies, it's been these 2 guys, although their positions were reversed. They really set the table up on top. Padilla trying to keep an eye on Castillo. David Bell weighing on the grass at third, and Pierre fouls one back.
Well, there's no question when the Marlins stay close to the Phillies and play low-scoring ball games, they've had a much better chance. They're 7-8 this year. The last 8 games that these two teams have played, Phillies have won 6, and they've outscored the Marlins 80-41.
Bring that into further focus. The Phillies have 42 runs in the last 4 games these last 2 weekends against Florida. That just missed the outside corner. Padilla going a lot of fastballs early on, and that's the way that they're going to try to work it. Eventually, they'll bring in a breaking pitch.
You know, you talk about pace and you talk about pitch selection. A lot of that also has to do with Mike Lieberthal, the veteran catcher back there.
Here's a 2-2 to Pierre. High and away, makes it 3-2 now.
Pretty good chance on the 3-2 pitch now that Castillo will be on the move.
Cabrera waiting on deck for Florida. But you can do that, especially in a situation where a guy doesn't strike out much, and Pierre doesn't, although he did strike out last night. And he got a piece of that and fouled it back.
So many times you'll see a runner with pretty good speed thrown out in that strike him out, throw him out situation. The whole key for a runner is to, number one, not get picked off. You just want to be on the move, so you're not going to get the best of jumps, and you're relying on that hitter to put the ball in play.
Ran once, he's going again, and they stay out of a potential double play. They'll get the out at second. No, they don't stay out of a double play. Unbelievable. 6-4-3 on the double play. Castillo didn't get to the bag in time, and a good quick turn by Chase Utley.
Jimmy Rollins moving toward the bag, and the ground ball was right there. Utley with a nice turn to get the speedy Juan Pierre. He doesn't get into many double plays. Very close at second base.
Chase Utley did a pretty good job of protecting himself at second base, but you got to wonder perhaps why Castillo didn't go in and try to take him out.
He is not the best of sliders, and you saw the pop-up slide really never even touched Chase Utley. 10th double play, by the way, that Juan Pierre's hit into.
So here is Cabrera, 2 out, bases empty. You see the gaudy numbers for the 22-year-old. He is a force now in the National League. He's going to be a force in the National League for a long time. Second in the league in hits to go along with the 32 home runs, 107 RBIs. You see him just behind Derek Lee. Looks at a fastball over for a strike.
Kind of a fun game today. The most productive duo in the National League, Cabrera Delgado. The second most, Pat Burrell and Bobby Abreu.
Now the 2-1. That's low, so a hitter's count now for Miguel Cabrera. He was 2 for 4, couple of runs here last night. He trying to work his way through the first inning, got a big double play ball off the bat of Pierre. You see more fastballs coming. Came in with it, and he jammed Cabrera, so the count goes to 3-2.
And obviously for Padilla, using that fastball the way he does, if he two-seams it and keeps it down, that's when he's going to have success.
That's what he's trying to do to the right-hand hitters, and that's why he's had so much success against them over his career, is he's trying to move that ball in on their hands and down. Did it again, and he got a ground ball out of it. David Bell, an easy play to first base, throws high and pulls Martinez off the bag. That is a straight error on David Bell. For him, his 20th of the season.
Which is really uncharacteristic for David Bell, who has had a solid reputation as a defensive third baseman. Just a bad throw, had plenty of time, and Ramon Martinez had to go off the bag to get the throw.
Problem for Bell and the Phillies now is, instead of being out of the inning, you got to deal with Carlos Delgado with a man on base, and Delgado has been as hot as you can get.
I mean, he's almost been as hot as Jimmy Rollins.
31 home runs, 107 runs batted in. Hits one hard here. Abreu got a late start. It's over his head. Now Cabrera getting to third base. Will get the stop sign, and he runs through it. Play at the plate. He is out at home plate. Cabrera ran right through the stop sign of the third base coach, Jeff Cox. And the relay throw guns him down. So the outs on the bases for the Marlins a problem here in the first inning. We go to the second. Well, we go to the top half of the second inning. Still a 0-0 game. And Pat Burrell facing Dontrelle Willis. Burrell last night had a hit, 2 more RBIs. He's now driven in 110 on the season. Burrell has also been very selective at the plate. 13 walks in his last 10 games. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, he's been able to do that all year. 92 walks on the season. Probably a few more base hits the other way that drove in runs, too.
And down to the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. You take a look at those numbers for Burrell right now. Shockingly similar to that season that he had in 2002. Take a look. 7 home run shy, 6 RBI shy. He was 3rd in the league in runs batted in 2002. Chasing up a little bit high and fouls it back, 1-2.
We've talked about how hot Jimmy Rollins has been against the Marlins this year. Pat Burrell this year against Florida, 6 home runs and 24 RBIs.
And more selective, as we said, down low. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, out of the University of Miami, he's just comfortable in South Florida.
That's amazing what he's done to the Marlins this year. Now about 21 RBIs in his last 5 games against Florida. It's that one hard. Now just got it off the end of the bat. And Andino makes the catch. Here you go back. And here's where the Marlins ended up losing out on a possibility.
Excellent execution. Jimmy Rollins with the relay throw. We'll tell you why he threw it. A good pick by Lieberthal, who blocked the plate well. Cabrera ran through the stop sign. He's slowing right there, then he picks it up, and that cost him at the plate. Never looked at Jeff Cox, the coach who had the red light on. Good job by Mike Lieberthal. Look at him block off the plate. But does he get the tag on him? He tagged him with the glove. The ball was in the other hand. By the time he got him, Cabrera may have been on the plate.
Never let the truth get in the way of a good story, huh?
Hey, Rollins made that relay throw because he was shaded so far over with the shift on in Delgado, the batter.
So that time the shift actually gave other dividends to the Phillies defensively. 0-2 the count to Chase Utley.
Watch the glove. There's the tag, but the ball's in the hand. There's the ball in the right hand, the tag with the glove. By the time Lieberthal, if he touches the back, Cabrera probably had the plate.
Well, the call was out from Brian O'Nora, so Mike Lieberthal got away with that after a good block of the plate. And Cabrera, you're not going to feel good when you make a mistake like that on the base paths and run through the stop sign that was put up by your third base coach.
Well, I think the mistake was early on getting off to a little bit of a jog.
Utley on the ground over to Delgado, and that's 2 away.
I think one of the reasons Dontrelle Willis has had success against the Phillies, you switch Jimmy Rollins over to the right side. You've got left-handers in the Phillies lineup, albeit outstanding left-handers in Abreu and Utley, but it gives Dontrelle Willis an opportunity to face some lefties.
In this case, he'll also face this right-handed batting David Bell, who this year has raked left-handed pitching, hitting .392 against left-handers. It's the second best number in the National League. The only guy who's hitting higher is standing out at second base right now, Luis Castillo.
This is one of those matchups that you say, go figure. The great average against lefties, yet David Bell against Dontrelle Willis is 1 for 18.
0-56, including 3 strikeouts. That one wide, 2 balls and a strike. It's been a while since Dontrelle Willis has lost a game. As we said, he's won 6 straight starts coming in. And Bell gets another hit against the left-handed pitcher. Bill's first base runner comes with 2 outs here in the second.
Pretty good pitch. David Bell stays right on it, behind the ball well. Takes it inside out into right field. I think his dad Buddy got a few of those too.
More than a few. Mike Lieberthal saw the 12 home runs on the year. One of them this season is against Willis. Ball game that we mentioned back in July, in which the Phillies knocked Dontrelle Willis around. Mike Lieberthal had a home run. And he's 7 for 27 against him lifetime. Fastball is high, 1-1. The other thing that Lieberthal does is he hits Florida. You talk about the guys that have had good numbers against the Marlins. How about this one? 366 with 4 of his home runs and 7 runs batted in.
You can go up and down that Phillies lineup and find numbers like that. Abreu, Rollins, Michaels, Burrell, Utley. They've all hit the Marlins.
So interesting the way that's turned after the Marlins owned the Phillies for 2 years.
Kind of really started, Scott, when Jack McKeon took over in May of 2003.
They won 23 out of 26 games. Lieberthal fouls it back. It's 3-2. That streak finally came to an end as the Phils got a victory here in South Florida last September. And Jack McKeon has now seen his team have a few more struggles against the Phillies, but there you see the numbers. Good numbers in his 3rd season as the Marlins manager. Runners off with the pitch. And Lieberthal, a lazy fly ball to right. Jeff Conine the catch. And the inning comes to an end. So far it's been about pitching and outs on the base pass. Scoreless in the second. Gorgeous day in South Florida. Scoreless in the bottom of the second. And Jeff Conine leads it off for Florida. 39-year-old. Very good numbers after the All-Star break this year. It's kind of helped Florida piece things together after all the injuries they've had and the inconsistency they've had in the starting lineup.
Well, with the move that Jack McKeon made a while ago, taking Mike Lowell out of the lineup and bringing Cabrera in to play 3rd, Conine got some playing time in left field. Today he's in right field.
3:39 for Jack McKeon here in the second half for Conine. And down to the count, a ball and 2 strikes.
He's been a very versatile player. The other thing that the Marlins will do late in the game with a lead, they'll put Jeff Conine in at first base for defense.
An original Marlin from back in 1993. Hit the first home run for a Florida Marlin, the first grand slam for a Marlin. Was here through 97 in the world title team. And he was off with a lot of his time spent in Baltimore. Came back at a real key time for this team in 2003 and helped them ultimately win a spot in the playoffs. And he strikes out here on the high fastball from Padilla. Time now for the Burger King Have It Your Way home field advantage. If you take a look, the home field advantage here is the Teal Monster in left field, 26.5 feet high. That yellow line gives way to that scoreboard. You got to hit it over that board to get it out, Hud.
Yeah, a lot of long fly balls that are home runs in a lot of other ballparks that die out there.
You can see it's 26.5 feet high for the most part all the way around until you get way out when the yellow line picks up again. So look at our home field advantage. Have it your way. Here's Paul LaDuca. He's been bothered by a hamstring injury. Hasn't played much behind the plate. Came up with a very big hit against the Phillies in last weekend's series to get the win for Florida. And Padilla, one of his first curveballs, fouled back for strike 2.
Well, it's that right hamstring. It does affect when he swings the bat a little bit. It affects him catching as well, making the quick moves. But he's a battler, and he goes to Jack McKeon all the time and says, I want to be in there.
And LaDuca fouls one back again. No balls and 2 strikes to Paul LaDuca. Came over at that trade deadline deal last year for the Marlins from the Dodgers. He was stunned really by the trade. You see the career numbers against Vicente Padilla, but Paul LaDuca got to be a fan favorite very quickly, getting off a plane, getting here, winning a game in his first at bat, first pitch that he saw in extra innings with a home run. 1 ball and 2 strikes. One-two pitch and grounded foul. Padilla coming back with another breaking ball. Oftentimes you'll see Vicente Padilla, if the fastball has enough velocity and is moving, that he could throw 90% fastballs in a game. And that's why Paul LaDuca never got out of the batter's box. That bat exploded. And Martinez unassisted to first base for the put out. Right now, here's Jeannie Zalasko with a game break.
Thank you. Thank you. Johan Santana being Johan Santana, and that is very good. Or in this case, darn near perfect. In fact, he took a perfect game into the 5th, and that ended with 1 out. Johan Santana, 5 innings, 1 hit, 10 Ks so far on the afternoon. But the number that is most important, watching that scoreboard, 4-0 Twins over the White Sox, top 7.
Well, thanks, Jeannie. And that's the last thing the White Sox wanted to see today was Santana on top of his game, because Chicago has been losing that lead in the American League Central. Mike Lowell stands in. You take a look at those standings. Cleveland back within 4.5 games, and the Tribe has played great baseball since the All-Star break. 2-0 the count to Mike Lowell with 2 outs and the bases empty. This has been a befuddling year looking from the outside in at Mike Lowell. .232 with 6 home runs, 54 runs batted in.
Mike Lowell, when he had his consistent years, the last 5 years, he averaged 25 home runs and 95 RBIs. Pulled a lot of balls, a lot of home runs down that left field line. He's been opening up a lot this year. We've seen a lot of fly balls into right field. He just hasn't had the same power that he's had in the past.
Mike Lowell is the owner of 21 career home runs against the Phillies. They have seen him over the years beat him in very big ball games.
And of course, 3 of those 21 in 1 game.
Just got a piece of that. That was back at Citizens Bank Park last year in a game that the Marlins won in come from behind fashion. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And the pitch from Padilla. Way up high. So now you're in number 7 hitter. So you look down to the 8 hitter. You start thinking about who's coming up. Oh, wait a minute. That's Dontrell Willis waiting on deck.
Wait a minute. He's up.
And Lowell is going to bring him to the plate here. The line single to center field. Now we've seen Dontrell Willis and what he has done over the course of his career. Lifetime 3 home runs, including this one earlier this week down in Houston.
Well, he hit the longest ball he said that he's ever hit against Scott Strickland into that second deck at Minute Maid Park. His first one this year.
He's got 21 hits this year, including 4 doubles in that home run. Padilla backs him off. Has been used as a pinch hitter at times this year. Coming way inside. Trying to back him off the plate. That's hit hard. Martinez got a glove on it, and Utley, the quick flip, will turn that into a 3-4-3 to end this bottom half of the 2nd inning. Willis got a good swing. We're going to the 3rd, scoreless. Philly skipper Charlie Manuel has watched his team play a series of big games. It really began more than a month ago. Been a number of times this year the Phils have experienced losses. A lot of people might have given them up for dead. And here they are, still very much in this thing with just over 2 weeks to go. Ramon Martinez, the number 8 hitter, will lead it off for the Phils in this 0-0 game. And Dontrell Willis starts him with a strike. Ryan Howard sitting today against the left-hander. He has struggled against left-handed pitching. This happened the other night against Horacio Ramirez for the Braves, and Martinez hit a grand slam home run to help the Phillies win a game.
Worked out well for Philadelphia. Yeah, Ryan Howard, all of his production, no home runs against lefties.
Something that the Phillies and Ryan think is going to come over time.
One thing Philadelphia is doing, they're making Dontrell Willis work. 36 pitches through the first 2 innings. 5 of the 7 batters have seen 5 or more pitches.
A warm day today. Willis is used to going deep into ball games, but that was part of the Phils' game plan today. And Martinez bouncing one right on one hop to low. So 1 away here in this 3rd inning. Well, welcome to the Pepsi Power Hitters Home Run Leaderboard. And today's leaders, Andrew Jones, 50 home runs, the most ever in Atlanta Braves history. Derek Lee, Alex Rodriguez leading the American League, along with David Ortiz. Log on to FoxSports.com, keyword Pepsi for your chance to win the Pepsi Complete Ultimate Sportsman Experience and play the Pepsi Power Hitters Home Run Derby. Last week's Home Run Derby winner was Fred Fell. Here's Vicente Padilla after looking at ball 1. He is 6 out of 36 as a hitter, and he's a guy who actually changed his batting stance in the middle of the season. He's more upright than he used to be. He used to be very crouched over.
Pitchers can do that sort of thing. He actually tripled off Dontrell Willis in that game back in Philadelphia.
Put that ball right up the left center field gap at Citizens Bank Park. Raced as best he could around the bases. And a call, 3rd strike. Beautiful backdoor breaking ball for out number 2. We said Ryan Howard's sitting today. That doesn't mean he's not talking. Ryan is wearing a microphone.
There he is. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for stylist number 11. Number 11 in your program, but number 1 in your hearts.
Now you got the microphone.
Jimmy.
Hey, you mic'd up. You can finally explain to America how come you never washed the dish and took out the trash.
See, here we go. Here we go. Every day, every day, every day.
You're going to spend time at somebody's place. You got to make sure you pick up after yourself.
Hey, who can have more fun than guys in a wild card race?
This team has been having that. You see these 2 guys being together, though? It's either the odd couple, Mutt and Jeff, or something along those lines. Well, they both do have a lot of fun. And this ball club has really been energy-filled in recent weeks. A lot of it has to do with Jimmy Rollins and the way he's setting things up. That is a fair ball. And Rollins thrown out on the one hopper to Mike Lowell. 1, 2, 3 go the Phillies here in the 3rd. Well, scoreless game in the 3rd. Alex Gonzalez still on the shelf for the Marlins. And that means that Andino will lead things off here, batting out of the 9th spot. So already the lineup change for Jack McKean has paid dividends. You don't have the pitcher leading off an inning.
The youngster Robert Andino also filling in for Damian Easley, who had been filling in for Alex Gonzalez. Easley sprained his ankle badly last night in the game, going out for a cutoff throw.
Saw the numbers for Andino at Double-A this year at Carolina. 1 ball and 2 strikes to him now, leading off here in the 3rd.
Big thrill for Robert Andino. He's a local kid, born in Miami, went to high school in Miami.
For Vicente Padilla. Marlins helped him get out of a possible jam in the 1st inning. Allowed a hit to Lowell, but stranded the runner in the 2nd.
Andino will get a lot of help defensively. Number 1 from Alex Gonzalez, who you saw sitting on the bench, and also from the Marlins first base coach and infield instructor Perry Hill. He'll help the youngster with his positioning.
A chase there, a little bit out of the strike zone. 2 balls and 2 strikes, the count now to Andino. 2nd round draft pick for the Marlins back in June of 2002. Just missing wide with the breaking ball.
One of the few breaking balls that we've seen Padilla throw so far.
It has been primarily fastballs. He's mixed in a few. That's the way Lieberthal's going to want to play it. Back to the fastball here. And he missed wide with it. First walk issued by Padilla. Let's check in with Jeannie Zelasco now for a game break.
And another NL East showdown. First inning magic of Shea keeps going and going like Adam LaRoche's 2-run home run, giving the Braves a 3-0 lead. And then look at this work. MVP hopeful Andrew Jones protecting that effort with this effort. Now let's give him a gold glove, too. Almost a 35-minute first inning. It's the Braves 3, the Mets nothing.
Is there anything that Andrew Jones doesn't catch?
Well, I don't have a vote, but he's my MVP in the National League.
Mine too, and I don't have a vote either. And he is a player of the week. Bank of America proud to support Little League Baseball's urban initiative, helping increase youth participation in baseball throughout our nation's cities. It's the official bank of Major League Baseball. Bank of America donating $1,000 each week on behalf of the American and National League Players of the Week. And today they are made in honor of Andrew Jones of the Braves, and as you saw, the Indians' Coco Crisp.
Well, one of the many Indians contributing to their terrific year.
They're trying to take the bunt away from Castillo. He's going to sacrifice, and it will be a sacrifice, as Bell throws to Chase Utley covering, moving the runner up to second base. Castillo sacrifices more than anybody in the National League. And you can see why, and it's a pitcher's battle so far. The Marlins are playing for a run, Hut.
Well, an excellent bunter, even with Bell creeping in. Castillo goes that way. Bell with a peak, but Robert Andino has pretty good speed, and it was a very close play at first base.
Castillo, as we said, more than anyone else in the National League this season, his 18th sacrifice bunt. So now you've got an opportunity. Juan Pierre, who last year hit so well in these spots with runners in scoring position. Looking at a curveball down low. Pierre this year 266 with runners in scoring position. It's been about the pitching here in the early going. Fastball at the knees for a strike.
Marlin hitters are doing the same that the Philly hitters are doing to Dontrell Willis. 5 of the 9 hitters have seen 6 or more pitches against Padilla.
And you wonder, with that pitch count rising, if the strained rib cage will come into play here at all. Although Padilla does seem to be moving pretty freely. We haven't seen a whole lot of discomfort out there.
No, he looks fine, and I will say if it's not loose on a day like today, it'll never get loose.
It's true. Rich Doobie keeping a watchful eye. He's done such a good job this year of guiding this pitching staff. And the breaking ball caught the outside corner for strike 2.
Yeah, that was the slow curveball from Padilla. Just trying to find that outside corner. Got the call.
So Padilla now at 50 pitches through the first 3. You see the slower way of working with the runner on. And he misses outside. And oftentimes the way the Phils will look at this is that Vicente Padilla, when he does slow down, starts looking at the runners. Not only does that take away his rhythm, but it also changes the arm slot when he pitches.
Yeah, it distracts everybody, too. It distracts the runner. It distracts the hitter as well.
The 3-2 to Pierre. Right on it. He fouled it back.
It's the 5th time in this game that Vicente Padilla has gone to a full count. And he can get in trouble. Sometimes you talk about arm slots with a pitcher and it's okay. He'll give that hitter different looks. But when Padilla starts moving that arm slot around, then he starts hanging pitches up in the strike zone.
There you see the numbers of what we're talking about. There's a pretty big difference in terms of runners on as opposed to bases empty. And it also has a lot to do, and you talked about this, with the fielders behind him. You kind of get back on your heels. It's a different way of approaching things for the guys that are playing behind him.
And that's why guys play so well behind Dontrell Willis.
Here's a 3-2 to Pierre. Up high, ball 4. So 2 walks in the inning now for Vicente Padilla. And the Marlins have 2 on with one of the big guns coming up.
Certainly not what Charlie Manuel wanted to see. The walk to Juan Pierre and allowing Cabrera to come up, and if not a double play, he'll also have to go after Delgado.
Rich Doobie's been well timed this year in the visits that he's made to the mound, not using one just yet. But now they've got to go after Cabrera, who reached on the error his first time up. Big spot early in this ball game for the Marlins. Their RBI men are there, and they've got good speed on the base paths right now. I get the feeling when Dontrelle Willis is on the mound these days, a couple of runs might be enough for you. That's right there for strike one.
And these two guys coming up, Cabrera and Delgado, are really the two guys, the main hitters in the lineup that have carried the Marlins to this point of the season.
You're talking about a combined 214 runs batted in coming into the day today for these two guys, batting out of the 3 and 4 spot. The 0-1. Fastball is high. 1 ball and 1 strike. The error at first base, Andino at second. Dontrelle Willis trying to keep his rhythm going. He's got the Phillies off the board through 3.
Padilla wants to keep that two-seamer down and get a ground ball. Cabrera has hit into 17 ground ball double plays.
That was there for a strike, and it's 1 and 2. Well, the one thing we've seen from Cabrera, he has wonderful tools, a terrific hitter. Has fit in well defensively in both left field and at third base. The one tool that he does not have, if you're talking 5-tool player, is speed.
He does not have that. Youngest player ever to have back-to-back 30 home run seasons.
Here comes a 1-2 from Padilla. Up and in. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And so far, all fastballs to Miguel Cabrera.
You can see very clearly what Padilla is trying to do here with Cabrera. He's already broken a couple of bats and gotten a couple of balls in on the fists of batters today to get him to hit it on the ground. Now the 2-2. Got it on the ground. Is it enough for 2? No. It's going to get away from everyone, and everyone is safe. Utley's toss to Rollins wasn't there. And that's going to load him up now for the Marlins with 1 man out. Probably not a double play ball based upon where it was hit.
Sometimes you try to force a double play knowing that you have that in between, not the real hard ground ball. So Utley trying to force it with a strong throw, and by forcing it, he throws it away, and everyone is safe.
Well, it's a fielder's choice and an error on Chase Utley.
Well, as Rich Doobie talks things over, they may be talking about the hottest hitter in the Marlins lineup, Carlos Delgado. Home run and 2 doubles last night, and he started this game this afternoon with a double to right center.
Now he hit a laser shot back in that first inning that looked like it might score a run, but Cabrera didn't get a quick start, ran through a stop sign, and got thrown out on a phantom tag at home plate. Carlos Delgado, you see the numbers, 319 with the bases loaded and 10 career grand slams. Big moment in this ball game right now. Those have the infield overshift on for Delgado, not as big as it has been at other times. That first pitch is down a little bit low.
One thing that you can see in Carlos Delgado, he really can smell the opportunity to possibly get into postseason. All those years in Toronto, all those good years in Toronto, he never had that opportunity.
Padilla working deliberately. And that one is low and outside. He did come up as a call-up to Delgado in 1993, got 2 at-bats late in the season for that Blue Jays team that ultimately ended up beating the Phillies in the '93 World Series on the Joe Carter walk-off home run. And in the count here, 2-0. And a good hitter is going to do just that in that spot.
Get himself into that nice hitter's count. And he knows also in watching Padilla, he's going to see 99%. He's going to see a fastball. Got a fastball, had a good swing, just fouled it back.
He's got the same option to do that here right now. And as a hitter, are you looking in an area at this point?
You're looking for a zone out over the plate, something you can extend and drive.
You try to stay away from that zone. A lot of pitches here in this third inning. Up and in. And now it's a 3-1 count to Delgado.
Pitchers all year have tried to crowd Carlos Delgado in under the hands. Obviously, Padilla didn't want to miss there and take it to 3-1 because Delgado knows he has to see a strike here.
Bases are loaded. 3-1 the count to Carlos Delgado. Swing and a miss. That looked like it was a ball that he was just trying to flick away.
Got him to go out of the zone. And you don't see Carlos Delgado do that too often. A pitcher's pitch. And he got Delgado to go after it.
Oh, it's 3-2 the count now. Runners will be moving here with 2 men down in the third. Padilla the payoff pitch. And he stayed with it and fouled it back. We talked about this. That's the sign of a hot hitter. Last night, John Lieber in the first inning threw Delgado a pitch that he just flicked away, stayed alive, and moments later hit a ball over the center field fence for a 2-run homer.
300 career hitters or guys that are in hot streaks, when they get that pitcher's pitch, they'll foul it off. The 250 hitter puts it in play for a weak ground ball.
I would imagine in your career you were on both sides of the fence.
I put a lot of those ground balls in play.
The pitch from Padilla, and he stays alive again.
It's the one thing that we see so much in people who have followed Carlos Delgado. You see infields play that big shift, yet outfields play him straight up because he gets a lot of his big base hits gappers into left center.
This is going to be Vicente Padilla's 29th pitch here in the third inning. And it's high. It'll walk it away. That's a great attack by Carlos Delgado. Fouling off pitchers' pitches and getting the Marlins a 1-0 lead here in the third inning.
Well, let's go pitch by pitch. Padilla, Delgado, two-seamer down, misses again, down for ball 2. Good swing by Delgado. Up and in, 3-1's the count. Now here comes the little cat and mouse game. Fouls off a good fastball, that one borderline, and then he finally misses up and away for ball 4.
Well, the Marlins finally break through here in the bottom of the third inning to a 1-0 lead. That matchup is done, and now Padilla goes after Jeff Conine, who he struck out in the second. And Conine trying to be aggressive with the first swing, strike 1. Jeff Conine, as we mentioned, came over in the deal, and you see the numbers, as we told you. 67 pitches for Vicente Padilla. Jeff Conine came over after Mike Lowell got hurt right before the roster expansion in 2003, and he filleted the Phillies that year. 0-2 the count to him.
Can you remember that great catch that he made in left center field at Veterans Stadium?
Spectacular catch. He made a couple of big defensive plays. 9 games he hit .324 against him with 3 homers and 11 RBIs in 9 games. Down to the count here, 0-2. You see the career numbers with the bases loaded for Conine. The 0-2. Just a little high with the fastball.
Well, Padilla's worked him in. He stayed with the fastball. Got a feeling, too, with bases loaded, the odds are he's not going to go with the breaking ball. He's going to stay with the bread and butter, the fastball.
We'll see. And there it is. He strikes him out. So the second out of the inning as Conine goes down for the second time.
Lieberthal moves out. The fastball tails in, and he throws it by Jeff Conine. Over the last 6 games coming into this game, the Marlins have struggled in these situations. 3 for 32 with runners in scoring position the last 6 games.
Conine's a little upset. He is truly a competitor. He had an opportunity to get a second run there with 1 out. Now they'll rely on LaDuca. He looks at ball 1 high. Paul LaDuca, 306 hitter with runners in scoring position this year. As we mentioned last Saturday night with the Marlins down in Philadelphia, he came off the bench for a big 2-run pinch hit single that ultimately won the game for Florida. That one's inside, and it's 2-0.
Well, he got jammed as good as a hitter's going to get jammed his last time up. And Padilla continues to work him inside.
All about the matchup between pitcher and hitter right now in this bases loaded situation with 2 out. That caught the outside corner. LaDuca didn't like the call very much from Brian O'Rourke. And for that matter, neither did the crowd.
Well, you get thinking inside. All of a sudden, the pitch that maybe catches the outside corner looks like it's a foot away.
Well, Padilla's had some pretty good success bringing that pitch back to the outside corner, the one that moves that way. Remains to be seen if that ever got the plate. The 2-1, and he fouls that back. So it's 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Paul LaDuca.
You mentioned LaDuca's big home run the other night in Houston against Chad Qualls. Let's see if Padilla stays with the fastball that he struck Jeff Conine out with.
The problem is if you decide to go 2-2 with the breaking ball, they know you're coming back fastball if you miss with it. And a call, 3rd strike. LaDuca didn't like it, but the inning is done. Padilla 2 big strikeouts to wrap it up. But the Marlins take the lead. It's 1-0 as we go to the 4th. See some clouds in the sky here, but for the Phillies and Vicente Padilla, the clouds passed by. That could have been a bigger inning for the Florida Marlins.
Oh, you bet. Padilla threw 39 pitches in that inning, walked 3, didn't give up a hit. Phillies made an error, but he gave up just 1 run. He had 2 strikeouts, 2 big strikeouts, Conine and LaDuca.
Problem, of course, for Padilla is 75 pitches through 3 innings on a hot day means the Phillies bullpen will come into play here this afternoon. And Jason Michaels to lead it off against Dontrell Willis as the Phils try to get one back. Michaels grounded out to 3rd his first time up. We talked about what a great job he has done as part of this platoon, especially in terms of getting on base, coming into the day today with a .408 on base percentage. Times earlier in the season when the Phillies seemed to be struggling offensively, it seemed like Michaels always got a deep count, always got a good at bat.
Well, that's why it's been such a good platoon, Michaels and Lofton.
And in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. Michaels, of course, also a product of the University of Miami. Pat Burrell said, you know, I wasn't even the best hitter on that Miami team. Jason Michaels was. Two are still very good friends. They've enjoyed this year the time that they've gotten to play together in the Phillies outfield. That one just missed out a little bit low, so it goes 3-2 now to Michaels. With Bobby Abreu waiting on deck.
The thing that Dontrell Willis has done so well this year, he's split things up. 11-4 at home, 10-4 on the road.
And a called 3rd strike. Jason Michaels was sure he was headed to first base, but he has to hit the brakes and turn back around. Tomorrow on Fox NFL Sunday, the surprising 49ers try to improve to 2-0 and they take on their old teammate Terrell Owens and an Eagles team trying to rebound from their Week 1 loss. Or Michael Vick and the Falcons take on Sean Alexander and the Seahawks. All begins tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific on Fox.
Boy, just a good strike, two-seam fastball, and a no-no for Jason Michaels to show up Brian O'Nora, the home plate umpire, that way.
How often does something like that as a player come back at it?
You know, umpires will say never. Players would disagree.
You being a player, I assume that means you both disagree.
They have good memories, too.
So it lasts for a while. Breaking ball and a foul ball off the bat of Abreu. Goes down on the count 0-2. Bobby Abreu has consistently been getting on base the last couple of weeks, more than one time per game, and that's really helped drive this Phillies offense. Willis dropping down a little on him there and missed wide with the fastball.
You talked about the Phillies bullpen probably getting in this game. The Marlins want Dontrelle Willis to go the distance. Last night, the Marlins bullpen in 4 innings gave up 11 runs on 10 hits.
It was amazing. Ball third, strike on Abreu. Well, back-to-back. 4 strikeouts for Willis, 3 of them looking.
Well, I think we saw some of those calls with Conine and LaDuca, and what the home plate umpire, Brian O'Nora, is saying, hey, my strike zone's a little wide. You better be alive to swing the bat. And that's what you have to do as a hitter. You have to realize that. So that borderline pitch, like we saw Delgado, you have to try to foul it off.
So here's Pat Burrell. Hits one on the ground into left field for a base hit. That's the second hit of the ball game for the Phillies against Willis. So Chase Utley will get his turn now. And especially for left-handed batters, I've got to imagine that Dontrelle Willis is awfully difficult to pick up.
Well, one of our tips and bullet points in our scouting report was elbows and kneecaps. And if you're up there, righty or lefty, and even tougher for a left-hander, that's what you're going to see from Dontrelle, and he's been able to stay consistent with that delivery.
Fastball misses up and in. Well, Willis has that odd motion. He developed it back when he was a kid, playing a game called Strikeout, which was something like stickball with 2 of his friends. As Utley looks at his strike, he said that they all kind of got good enough at hitting one another, so they kind of knew it was coming. So he came up with a way of hiding the ball for as long as he could. And, you know, that was kind of a real early form of it, but that's pretty much what he carries on the mound right now.
He has a couple of different moves to first base. He'll give you that snap throw over there. Every once in a while, he'll show his other move, which is not a real good one, but generally holds runners pretty close. And Burrell's not going anywhere anyway.
Pitch down low to Utley, 2 balls and a strike. Chase Utley has been a big part of what has driven the Phils offensively here this year. 22 home runs, 89 runs batted in. And in the beginning of the season, he was splitting time with Placido Polanco. That's in for a strike.
That was a great trade, I think, for both players. Good fastball once again in a great spot. Polanco getting a chance to play with Detroit, and it opened things up for Utley to play every day for the Phillies.
Willis is ready. All elbows and knees, and Utley fouls it back. Chase Utley, first time the Phillies faced Willis this year, back in April, did not play, and Willis pitched an absolute gem against the Phillies that afternoon. We were walking out of this ballpark to get out of the team bus. I said, I'm sure you're sorry you missed that today. He said, oh yeah. But Utley has done a much better job of hanging in against left-handers, even tough ones, as this season has gone on.
Well, there are a lot of good left-handed hitters get the day off when Dontrelle Willis pitches. Last start, a complete game in Houston.
Well, they absolutely needed it most. Coming off a real rough weekend for the bullpen in Philadelphia. And Utley hit that one hard, just foul.
You know, I think Roger Clemens is still in the Cy Young race, but I think he's number 3 right now. And Dontrelle Willis and Chris Carpenter, the 2 guys, each with 21 wins. Dontrelle Willis going for 22 today.
You and I both said we would cast our ballot for the MVP for Andrew Jones. I don't know who I vote for in the Cy Young. Runners going 3-2. Lifted in the air to left. It got back a little bit on Cabrera, but he's going to make the catch. Halfway back on the warning track, and that will end the inning as Willis puts up another 0 in the 4th. Vicente Padilla, after a hard working 3rd inning in which he gave up the game's only run, comes back out for the 4th. And facing Mike Lowell to start it off for the Marlins. Now the 1-0. And that was it there for a strike. In between innings, we got an opportunity to talk with Phillies manager Charlie Manuel. Well, visiting now with Charlie Manuel. And Charlie, this has been a season in which you guys have seen game after game. It's almost been like the playoffs for 2 months now. How do you keep that going for you, and how do you keep it going for the ball club?
Focus on what we're doing, and we're enjoying every bit of it. Our players are up for it. They're loving everything we do, and we come to play every day. And we plan on staying right in this thing to the end. We've got, what, 14, 13 games to play, and our schedule's tough, but it's a good fight. We're there.
Charlie, Tommy Hutton here. I've spent a little time in Philadelphia myself. How has it been managing in Philadelphia?
It's a little, fans are a little, they get a little upset if you don't win, Tommy, but that's everywhere. I mean, we can deal with that, and you got to be mentally tough, of course. And I like the way our ball club plays.
All right, Charlie, thanks a lot. Good luck.
Thank you.
Well, Charlie Manuel visiting with us. It's been an interesting first season for him. He's done a good job of keeping this team right there. As we said, there have been a number of times this season as Dontrelle Willis swings and misses that the Phillies have had a blow that could have knocked him out. One of them came right here in Florida. And Willis, a high drive. Michael's going back, and it's going to stay in the park. Let's take it to Ginny Zalasko now with another game break.
Johan Santana still in the game, and he's getting plenty of offense. Do you think the White Sox are rallied? Not quite. Michael Kadyr's home run makes it 5-0 Twins, bottom 8.
So 2 down here in this 4th inning, but a near miss for Dontrelle Willis.
High fastball. Dontrelle Willis takes it deep. How many times does a guy fly out to the warning track and get a standing ovation when he comes back to the dugout? Number 8 hitter, Dontrelle Willis today.
He's ripped 2 balls today. There's another one hit hard. Jason Michaels is going to have that go over his head and run hop over the fence. A ground rule double for Andino.
First major league base hit for the 21-year-old Robert Andino out of Miami.
They've been 0 for 6 with a walk coming in, so they will toss that ball out of play.
And so far, Jack McKeon's lineup change has worked to this point. It was Andino who drew a leadoff walk in the 3rd inning and eventually came around to score. Solid swing from the youngster. Jack McKeon said in his memory it's the first time that he's hit a pitcher other than 9th in the major leagues. He did it a lot in the minor leagues.
Well, we've seen that happen over the years, recent years, when Mark McGwire was on his run. Tony La Russa did it for the St. Louis Cardinals.
That was a different situation. Tony did it to allow the opportunity for McGwire to have some base runners on, not because he had great hitting pitchers. Most of the other times you and I have talked about, Steve Carlton did it with the Phillies. Big right-hander Steve Renko did it with the Expos years ago.
Steve Carlton did it on a day in 1979, June 1st, in which he ended up grounding into a double play in the 2nd inning in Cincinnati, with Bud Harrelson on deck behind him. 1-1 the count to Castillo. He's got a base hit and a sacrifice, 1 for 1. He's got a 2-out run sitting out there at second base. That's over on the outside edge.
Notice in this inning, and maybe it's because he had to really work last inning, Padilla's thrown more breaking balls than he has in the previous 3 innings.
He threw 2 fastballs that both got hit hard back-to-back. That might have something to do with it as well. And his fastball's moving. They don't get the fat part of the bat on it. When it stops moving, that ball can be hit a long way.
Get a little tired, too. That fastball starts to elevate in the strike zone.
The 1-2 to Castillo. Inside corner, called third strike. For Vicente Padilla, that is 5 strikeouts in 4 innings. He strands a base runner. We go to the 5th. 1-0 Florida. Top of the 5th and a 1-0 lead for Florida. And David Bell takes a look at strike 1. And while we were away, we got an opportunity to check in with Jack McKeon. We'll get to that momentarily. He watches Dontrell Willis continue to spot his pitches. It's a little bit inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. David Bell is single back in the 2nd inning, continuing his season-long hitting of left-handed pitching. Goes on the inside corner. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
All you ask from an umpire's consistency, and Brian O'Nora has done that, both sides.
It's been a fairly big plate, and pitchers will make an adjustment to that. Hitters then have to adjust to the same thing. A little bit low. Now our conversation from in between innings with Jack McKeon. Jack, this is Scott Graham. You made the move today to have Dontrell Willis bat in the number 8 spot, and as it turns out, he's gotten 2 terrific swings here this afternoon.
Well, he's a good hitter. There's no question about that. He's one of the better hitters, and especially in the league as far as pitches go. But, you know, with the youngster, doesn't have that great batting numbers, so we figured to go with a good hitter.
Jack, over the years, we've talked about you doing that. You said you did it a lot in the minor leagues. You couldn't remember really at the big league level hitting a pitcher other than 9.
No, I don't remember that. It could happen, but, you know, you're talking about almost 2,000 games, so you really don't remember all those situations. But I know I did it quite often in the minor leagues.
All right, Jack, thanks a lot. Good luck.
Thank you.
Well, the guy that he talked about batting 9th almost made a spectacular play there in the hole at shortstop, but David Bell is going to beat it out for a leadoff infield single.
Well, what a great effort by Robert Andino. Kind of gave you a little look of a Derek Jeter throw, going deep in the hole, just not quite in time, and Bell gets the infield base hit. Good effort, though, by Andino.
Now, the leap is what is reminiscent of Derek Jeter. We've seen him do that a lot over the years. Mike Lieberthal now with a runner at first base, nobody out. And back toward the middle. That could be 2, but won't be. Tough play for both guys heading toward the bag, and David Bell just toppled Luis Castillo. They do get the lead runner at second base.
Well, it actually showed some creativity in the 21-year-old at short. A lot of guys would continue on, get the out at first base because there was a crisscross there at the bag. And Dino was able to stop, flip it back to Luis Castillo, who was alert enough to get to the bag, and then he was taken out pretty well by Bell.
Well, Bell went in there hard. Despite the fact the base was there to protect Castillo, Bell just went flying right over the top of it. So the runner at first, 1 man out, and here is Martinez. Ball 1, little high and outside.
You know, we were talking about that Cy Young race. Dontrell Willis himself, who has so much respect for the game of baseball, he said he would vote for Chris Carpenter, and he said, how could you not vote for Roger Clemens, number 2?
That's a nice, refreshing way of looking at things, but not everybody feels that same way. There's a lot of people that believe what Dontrell has done for this Marlins team this year is certainly worthy of that award. We'll see. Taking a look at the Cy Young candidates. Roger Clemens, the 177 ERA, but you can't overlook 21 wins on either side right there. That ball is ripped, but right at the left fielder Cabrera. And 2 down now here in the 5th inning. We told you that on a day off today against the left-hander that Ryan Howard was sitting. We still have him wired up to the sounds of the game.
Okay, here we go. Cheerios and frosted mini wheats. I don't know, man. Don't ask me. I'm just here. Don't ask me.
Well, apparently the act wasn't going over too well in the dugout.
Well, you ever wondered what big leaguers eat?
We found out. And we also know by now from Jimmy Rollins that he doesn't clean up any of the dishes. Vicente Padilla, foul ball, strike 2. Strikeout in the 3rd inning for Padilla. Dontrelle Willis, similar to his start here against the Phillies on April 13th, just kind of mowing him down. That day against Corey Lytle, he pitched a 3-hit shutout. Marlins won that game by a score of 4-0. Willis struck out 7 and walked just 1. And a swing and a miss by Padilla. There is strikeout number 5. Through 5 for Dontrelle Willis. And the Marlins lead 1-0.
Over the years was being a teammate of Steve Carlton's for 6 seasons and seeing him win 27 games in 1972 on a team that won 59.
And strike 1 to Juan Pierre as we go here to the 5th. Well, Steve Carlton had a level of concentration, a level of focus in terms of when he pitched that may have been unmatched, at least at that time. Pitch inside, 1-1.
Had a chance to see Kevin Brown for a couple of years as a Marlin, but you're right about the concentration level on game day for lefty.
One is down low to Pierre. Hit into a double play and walked. And Pierre hit one in the air to right field. Crowd got excited, but a routine play for Bobby Abreu, 1 down.
Vicente Padilla threw 4 innings, 87 pitches. So he has to have a quick inning here. Dontrelle Willis threw 5 innings, has thrown 80.
It's almost been a pitch-for-pitch thing so far, but Padilla hurt by the 3 walks and an error that led to that lone run in the 3rd inning. Cabrera pops 1 foul. Should this game get into a battle with the bullpens, that's where the Phillies would believe that they would have an advantage because their bullpen a little bit more rested than the Marlins bullpen. And this year it's been a pretty reliable bullpen, especially in the late innings.
Yeah, the plus side of that for the Marlins, they're hoping at least Dontrelle can get to the 8th inning. They have arrested Guillermo Mota and Todd Jones, who's been absolutely unbelievable this year, to close out games.
Taking a look at Todd Jones. Been a long time since he has blown a save. Stepping in as an emergency man. He's been a lifesaver for this Marlins team. A swing and a miss by Cabrera. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
One thing about this game, the Marlins don't want to look back and think about the opportunities that they let slip by. They have the 1 run, but could have had 1 in the 1st and could have had more in that 3rd inning.
They've stranded 6 runners coming into this 5th inning. And a swing and a miss. Fastball high and away. Punches out Cabrera. Well, Carlos Delgado going to be the hitter here. We talked to him yesterday about being on a team that right now is right in the thick of it with 2 weeks to go in the season.
Those guys were in the 2003 World Series, so I mean it was exciting. They all wore their rings and stuff like that. So for me, having the opportunity to play meaningful games in September and hopefully have the possibility to make it to the playoffs is a great experience.
He's got that opportunity right now, and in ways the last week or so offensively he's helped to carry this team on those very broad shoulders. See the 13-year career. A lot of that with a Toronto team that couldn't quite get it done in terms of winning in September when he was there. Lofts a foul down the left side.
Well, here just 1 year, he's already tied Cliff Floyd for the most home runs by a Marlin by a left-hander, 31.
The big infield overshift is on for him again. Phils have been using that recently. Gary Varsho, the bench coach who likes football, has been calling this a 3-deep zone, Tommy.
There it is. You get guys way out there. What's that? The free safety out there.
Yeah, that's the free safety out there.
Free safety. Jimmy Rollins.
Trying to position that free safety is a task, especially with this guy as a pitch misses high. Delgado, as the Phils have put this defense together last weekend in Philadelphia and here as well, has been hitting it just around where everyone is.
couple of times this year, Carlos has seen the second baseman where Utley's on the right as at the cutout. Some second basemen have been 10, 15 feet into right field.
And he hits one over toward the shift, and this time it pays off. The 3 deep zone works for the Phillies as Jimmy Rollins throws out Carlos Delgado. We're through 5, 1-0. 1-0 Florida as we go to the 6th inning. Dontrelle Willis and Jimmy Rollins, the old Oakland, California friends, facing off again for the 3rd time today. Rollins has grounded out twice. Another time or two potentially to extend the 2nd longest hit streak in the whole of Major League Baseball this year. And he fouls one off.
Yeah, Johnny Damon had a 29-game hit streak earlier in the year.
Within 4 of the Phillies record. Post 1900, Chuck Klein with a 26-gamer. He also had a 22-gamer that same year.
The other thing, Scott, that Jimmy Rollins has done, he's hit in 12 straight games against the Marlins at an over 500 clip during that time.
Fouled back and out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jimmy Rollins. Watching Dontrelle Willis yesterday, talking with a couple of the Phillies before the game. It's amazing. He and Jimmy Rollins, personality-wise, the way they carry themselves out there, the way they enjoy themselves out there, and the way they have all that energy, it's so similar. And Rollins often one to center. The air kind of got fooled, but comes on to make the catch. And of course, the way those two guys are goes all the way back to when they were kids.
He was a lot younger. He used to just come around, you know, dribble his basketball. First, we wouldn't let him get on the basketball court because he was a little dude, you know, contrary to, you know, what he is now. But he just walk out there, and who got winners? And he just turn around and say, me. You got winners? All right, little man, well, come on. And, you know, of course, I was, you know, one of the quickest dudes around, so I would guard D, and he would come in, and I would throw bows. I mean, I would hit the dude so hard. He never complained, never called a foul. And I'm like, this little man got a heart. And I always thought he was going to be a basketball player, because everything, you know, that I'd known him or of him was through basketball. And, you know, who knew he'd be a, you know, a World Series champ already?
Well, he's not only got a ring, Jimmy Rollins hoping for one day, but right now he is mowing down the Phillies. 2 down, nobody on, as Willis continues to work hard here in the 6th inning.
Well, he has heart, he has charisma, he brings electricity to the mound, and he is a competitor.
Bobby Abreu takes a look at his strike. For yesterday's game, 2 old friends making acquaintances again, and yeah, Dontrelle Willis did get a little taller, didn't he?
Yeah, I wonder if Jimmy would want to guard him now.
Got to think Dontrelle will be posting him up now.
Dontrelle would take him right to the hoop.
Bobby Abreu, uncharacteristically, has struck out twice today. Hit that one the other way, foul. That'll scatter him in the Phillies bullpen, and there you see the yearbook look.
Look at those handsome young men in their tuxedos. Mom would be proud.
That's a nice look for the class picture, isn't it? And now here they are facing one another in Major League Baseball today. So far, Willis with the upper hand. Call 3rd strike, down goes Abreu again. 6th strikeout for Dontrelle Willis, who coasts through the 6th inning. At Dolphin Stadium, some wind blowing outside, not a big wind blowing inside, and not a lot of runs in this one. 1 run walked in the 3rd inning. That's all we've seen so far. By the way, we've talked about the Hurricane Relief Fund. The donate call 1-800-HELP NOW as Jeff Conine hits one on the ground for David Bell. And that'll be 1 down. Join Major League Baseball in support of the American Red Cross. You can go online to redcross.org or MLB.com to see how you can help. And by the way, Jeff Conine's Clubhouse Grill in Hollywood is going to be the site where they'll raise money for that fund. After today's game, a number of the Marlins are going to be on hand.
A lot of his teammates are going to be there. They'll be signing autographs, and a lot of donations going toward the Hurricane Fund.
That is a great idea. And hopefully a lot of folks will show up. Major League Baseball and all the professional sports have really done their best right now to see what they can do to help. Here's Paul LaDuca. Phillies on the recent homestand had people outside collecting money as folks came through the door. They just donated $160,000 at the end of that homestand to the fund.
Well, the Marlins just visiting Houston had a large contingent the other morning. Went out to a lot of the evacuees at the Astrodome, the convention center in Houston. Spent some time, gave them some tickets for the game that night.
It really is something that makes you take a step back. Of course, winning and losing a baseball game in a pennant race is very big, but when you step back and take a look at that, it's not quite as big anymore. Oh, 0-2 the count now to Paul LaDuca.
Well, one of the guys who really organized that trip, Juan Pierre, spent a lot of time, has family in Alexandria, Louisiana, about 200 miles north of Baton Rouge and the coastal areas. So he was very taken to it.
LaDuca flicks that one away, much the same way he learned how to hit back in his backyard when he was growing up in Phoenix. His mom used to take him out in the backyard and pitch him pinto beans. He used to hit them with the bat. The idea was if you can hit the little pinto bean, you can hit the great big baseball. She had to start wearing big sunglasses because he was hitting them right back at her. And a fly ball to center field. Jason Michaels, an easy play. Today's WebMD Health Update focuses on the Marlins' Damian Easley. His injury to his right ankle occurring last night in the second inning here at Dolphin Stadium. When you take a look back at what happened to Easley, he was moving over to try to field a cutoff throw, and it looked like he caught right in the grass, Tom.
Well, the field is a little chunked up. They've had some football games here, the Dolphins, exhibition games, regular season, and I don't know if that's what caused it, but Damian Easley, as he went out for that cutoff throw, just twisted that ankle badly.
Check out your own symptoms at WebMD.com. 1-1 the count to Mike Lowell. And Easley last night was in a tremendous amount of pain. We up here were worried that he might have broken that ankle. Torn ligaments, something along those lines. They had to cart him off.
He was going for an MRI today.
Bouncer to shortstop. And Rollins fires over to get Lowell. Oh, an easy 1-2-3 inning for Vicente Padilla. We are going to the 7th. Still a 1-0 game. Well, these teams as close as could be in the wild card standings. This game as close as could be, with the Marlins leading 1-0 as we go to the 7th. And Pat Burrell skies one way over toward the Phillies bullpen area. Foul ball. When you take a look, Phillies a half game back of Houston. The Astros will play later on tonight. Florida 1.5 back, and Washington still lurking in there, 2.5 games back.
Yeah, Frank Robinson's Nationals just will not go away. They got a great performance from John Patterson last night in San Diego.
One ball and one strike to Pat Burrell. Dontrell Willis still working hard here in the 7th. And a broken bat looper caught by Andino. What a pretty play. With the head of the bat rolling past him into shallow left field. As Dontrell Willis saws off Pat Burrell, that's one down here in the 7th.
So far, the kid can remember this game. Great reactions. A lot of times that jam shot has a knuckling effect. It isn't all that easy to pull down. Good reactions by Andino, and he hangs on. Nice landing, too.
It's got to inspire the pitcher.
Dontrell Willis today has had only 1-2-0 count. He's gotten ahead. He's just gone a little over 90 pitches. So lots of strikes as usual.
And the decision to play Andino at shortstop today, even though the Marlins have been short 2 guys there in Gonzalez and Easley, does pay off here. And you and I were talking about that before the game. Do you do something like put Cabrera potentially at shortstop, or do you play for defense? And today you're playing for defense.
With Dontrell Willis out there, it was a thought, but Jack McKeon said that it's, you know, Miguel Cabrera has moved all over this year. Right field, left field, third base. He hasn't taken a lot of ground balls at short, even though he signed as a shortstop. He felt he wanted the defense in there today.
And it makes sense in a game in which your pitcher is going to come out and very likely do something along these lines. So Andino is helped out today. 1 ball and 1 strike to Chase Utley. And a tapper foul. Utley 0 for 2 facing the left-hander this afternoon. This is uncharacteristic for the Phillies in their recent games with the Marlins. As we mentioned, the last 4 games, 42 runs against Marlins pitching. Charlie Manuel's team hadn't seen Dontrelle Willis in that time. And a swing and a miss. There's 7 strikeouts on the afternoon for Willis. You saw how tight the race is. And you look at it down the stretch, it's really kind of hard to tell which team has the advantage, although the Phillies are playing 12 of their last 15 on the road.
A lot of road games for the Phillies. The Marlins match up against some tough teams. Atlanta, 6 games, of course, Washington. And it'll be interesting to see how Houston handles the Chicago Cubs. They have 7 of 9 games with the Cubs.
As you saw there as well, the only direct connection after this weekend between these teams is that last weekend in Washington, in which the Phillies take on the Nationals. We'll see whether or not that has some sort of a play into it as well. Coin toss wise, by the way, the Phillies were happy to find out this week that if there's a 1-game playoff, they won the toss with both the Marlins and the Astros, but dropped it to Washington.
The only toss the Marlins won was to Houston. That would be played here. They would play in Washington or in Philadelphia.
Today's trivia question brought to you by Capital One. Since the inception of the wild card format, how many wild card teams have won the World Series? It's actually getting to be a fairly commonplace occurrence these days.
Well, I know for sure the Marlins have twice, in '97 and 2003.
2-1 to David Bell. Chopped on the ground at third. And will turn it to an easy 1-2-3 inning for Dontrelle Willis here in the 7th. It is stretched out here in Florida. Marlins still lead it 1-0. Well, look out at the sea, the Atlantic Ocean. And for Dontrelle Willis, pretty smooth sailing here this afternoon. He's allowed the Phillies just 3 hits. He's gotten 2 good swings at the plate, although he is 0 for 2. The ground out was a hot shot to first base, and the fly out was right back to the warning track in right center field. Vicente Padilla is still in there for the Phillies, and he starts him with a strike.
Yeah, the amazing thing about Dontrelle Willis as a hitter, 83 at bats now. He's only struck out 11 times. He hacks. He's only walked twice.
Well, if you're up there with that kind of swing as a pitcher, I would imagine you want to get your swings in.
Used often as a pinch hitter by Jack McKeon.
6 times this year. He does have 1 pinch hit. And a breaking ball, just got a little piece of it. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Phillies are getting the bullpen up now. Aquilino Lopez and Real Cormier throwing behind Vicente Padilla. And he gets Dontrelle Willis with a high fastball. 7 strikeouts now for Vicente Padilla. Talking to Dontrelle Willis's battery mate yesterday, Paul LaDuca talked about what it is that Dontrelle Willis brings to the ballpark every day.
And he attacks hitters, and he plays the game like it's in his backyard, and like he's having fun. And I think that, and all of that into one, and he energizes everybody on the bench. And you come out there with an attitude that you're not going to lose, and he brings that to the ballpark every day. And I think what makes it even more special, he's so genuine, and he means it. And probably the scary part is he's only going to get better.
Well, Paul LaDuca, obviously, the way the Marlins feel about Dontrelle Willis, what he has done, the energy level he brings to this team. Doesn't hurt that he throws up a 3-hit shutout through 7. Andino skies 1 foul territory. Martinez in trouble against that high sky, but he does put it away. And that is 2 down. Well, you got part of that trivia answer right, partner. Brought to you by Capital One. How many wild card teams have won the World Series? You are correct, sir. Twice the Marlins. 97 and 2003 was also the Angels, and of course last year the Boston Red Sox.
Tell you what, Vicente Padilla since he walked Carlos Delgado with the bases loaded, has retired 13 of 14.
And Luis Castillo looks at ball 1 up high.
And remember the 39 pitch inning. In that third inning, the next 3 innings he threw a combined 35 pitches, so he really settled down.
That he did. 1-1 the count here to Luis Castillo. And for the Phillies, this is what they kind of had in mind coming into the day today, knowing that it was going to be tough to get runs off Willis, but they wanted to stay close to see, and Charlie Manuel wanted to see how close they could get to that Marlin bullpen and when. It's not going to happen just yet. Backdoor breaking ball missed a little high.
You know, one more note on Dontrelle Willis, and it's been said many times. He plays the game like he's still in Little League. You see the enthusiasm that you see in all the Little Leaguers.
And a called strike. 2-2 the count out of Castillo. Tight pitchers battle in a pennant race game here on a Saturday afternoon. And Castillo rips one to right field, but Abreu is there, and the inning is done. Inning. 7 combined hits on the day, and a walked-in run by Vicente Padilla, the difference. That came back in the 3rd inning. But Padilla has really settled down, retiring his last 10 batters. And Dontrelle Willis starts Mike Lieberthal with strike 1. Lieberthal 0 for 2 on the day today. And a pop-up on the right side. Again, that high sky and the wind blowing. But Luis Castillo stays with it and puts it away. There's one down.
Well, he's moved the ball around. He's used his slider extremely well. Keeps hitters off balance. Boy, he continues with the elbows and kneecaps. Trying to win his 22nd game today. The D-Train is on the right track so far.
D-Train seems like a natural name here at Dolphin Stadium. He's run right down the tracks against the Phillies this year. .75 on the ERA. And Martinez looks at ball 1. Ramon Martinez 0 for 2, lined out to left field his last time up. That D-Train name actually came from his grandmother when he was growing up. Martinez pops one. It's going to be foul and out of play. It was way back when he was just a little toddler running around the house, and she said that he was just plowing through the house like a train, so D-Train seemed like the right way to go. When he got here, his teammates tossed it on him. He said he was a little uncomfortable with somebody using the name other than Grandma, but he got used to it.
Well, he's 23 years old. He's won 45 games. Only 2 active pitchers won as many before they turned 24. C.C. Sabathia and Greg Maddux.
Sure. This is a young man coming off a 10-11 year last year with a 4+ ERA. Martinez tried to hold his swing and did.
Marlins fans have seen the maturation of Dontrelle Willis after his Rookie of the Year season, going to the World Series, making an All-Star game that year, also this year.
3-1 to Martinez. Got a swing and fouled it back.
He has been much more consistent this year.
So Martinez ready to dig in. One down here in the 8th inning against Dontrelle Willis. The 3-2. They got him to hit it in the air into shallow right center. A little miscommunication briefly, but Pierre makes the catch. That's 2 away. Let's take a look at today's AutoZone strike zone for our 2 starting pitchers on the afternoon. You can see both have thrown a lot of pitches. Both have thrown a lot of strikes here today. And we have only seen 1 run of offense.
I think one thing we've seen today, Scott, is the way a pitcher at this level can pitch using his fastball. Majority of fastballs from both Padilla and Dontrelle Willis, but when you locate it and keep it down, you can have success.
See Todd Pratt being called on now as a pinch hitter. Phillies only with 2 natural right-handed bats on the bench for today. But with an extra catcher in A.J. Hinch that they brought up with the September call-ups, they can do this. And Pratt skies one in the air on the first pitch, a mile high to shallow left. And Dino hangs with it, makes the catch. Another 1-2-3 for a pumped-up Dontrell Willis, who leads it by 1. Game hasn't seen a base runner since the 4th inning. Dontrell Willis getting ready to try for yet another complete game. I'd like to see his teammates get him some insurance now as Juan Pierre leads off in the bottom half of the 8th inning in a 1-0 game. And the new Phillies pitcher will be former Florida Marlin right-hander Urbina.
Now, Urbina, a big part of the Marlins championship season in 2003 after he was acquired from Texas in July of that year. Good changeup. He'll work that changeup and fastball to perfection.
He came out and truly helped the Marlins, as you said, trying to do the same for the Phillies after the midseason trade from Detroit this year.
I think he really helped refine that bullpen for Philadelphia. Kind of changed everybody's order. Ryan Madson went down a little bit. The Phillies have a solid bullpen. They have good left-handers down there. Urbina, then of course Billy Wagner closing things out.
When they've got a lead late in the ball game, that's the way they'll go. Madson, Urbina, and Wagner. That one's outside, and Juan Pierre has worked a 3-ball, no-strike count. See the numbers for Urbina after coming over. 3-2 with a save. The ERA a little bit on the high side. For the most part, though, he has done an excellent job setting up Billy Wagner. And the 3-0 right there for a strike. As you might imagine, the only player in Major League history who's got 3 initials, UUU. Doesn't come up much. That one's in for a strike. It's 3-2.
He would fall in that category, most saves of any major leaguer with the initials UUU.
You know what? He's going to hold that record, I think, for a long time.
He's had a couple of 40-save seasons.
He comes back here, gets the slow roller. This is going to be a foot race. And he's not going to win it. Juan Pierre, an infield single to start this bottom half of the 8th inning. There's that great speed of Juan Pierre getting it started for the Florida Marlins.
Once Juan Pierre gets that little chopper to the right side and pulls the first baseman off the bag, it becomes a foot race. Urbina did a good job in getting there out of the glove with the flip, but it was not handled by Urbina. An infield base hit for Juan Pierre.
Would not have won the race, as you can see, anyway. Even had he held on to the toss. So Pierre aboard. He is always a potential threat to go. You mentioned 50 steals this year. But an opportunity now for the Marlins with Miguel Cabrera standing in and Carlos Delgado on deck. Fastball in the outside corner for strike 1.
Speaking of infield hits, the Astros are going to get Willie Taveras back in that leadoff spot. 66 infield hits going into games a couple of days ago, and he got injured against the Marlins.
No balls and a strike to Cabrera. 0 for 3 on the day today. Urbina to right-handers will throw mostly fast slider. There goes the runner. Good jump for Pierre. He's in safely. 51st steal on the year for Pierre. Puts himself in scoring position now with the big guys up.
One of the things that has troubled Urbina over his career is the lack of really holding runners slow to the plate. Because of that, Juan Pierre with a nice jump.
So Pierre in scoring position. Now just one behind Jose Reyes for the top spot in stolen bases.
So far today, the Marlins 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position.
And Urbina steps off. Look at Pierre back. You talked about Urbina and the fact that he uses that changeup so well. He doesn't normally use it as much to the right-hand batter, but he got burned in New York, a game-winning home run on a hanging slider. So he has been using it a little bit more recently. There's a fastball up high.
Yeah, generally the slider he won't use to lefties, more so to right-handers.
Big spot of the game is Florida trying to get themselves an extra run or two here in support of Dontrell Willis. Pitch flicked foul over toward the Marlin bullpen.
Well, you notice the youngster, even Smart, up there with 2 strikes, had an opportunity with a pitch away to try to hit one the other way to get Pierre over to third. So Miguel Cabrera, not only a powerful hitter and an outstanding hitter, he's a smart hitter.
Oh, he is so refined up there. It's just gotten better and better. Now in his 3rd big league season. You can see with 2 strikes, he's a heck of a hitter. The 1-2. Just got a piece of that, flicked it foul.
We saw an at-bat earlier in the game like this from Carlos Delgado facing Vicente Padilla, fouling off some tough pitches, some pitcher's pitches.
There is Delgado waiting in the on-deck circle. Big spot in the ball game for the Phillies, who will have the top of the order in the 9th inning against Willis. Marlins with that safety blanket as well, knowing that Willis has no problem going the route, but he gets in trouble. Todd Jones is behind him. Fastball high and wide. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Miguel Cabrera. Both managers coming through some playoff pressure. Both teams chasing the Astros. Dean is shaking off a couple of signs, and now Cabrera is going to step out on him.
Get that little cat and mouse game going. You don't want that pitcher to take too long, so you want to step out and regroup.
Now Urbina's got his side. The 2-2. Way outside, overthrew the fastball. So it goes to 3-2 now to Miguel Cabrera.
Well, and remember, this at-bat started 0-2. A couple of quick strikes. And all of a sudden, Urbina, as he tries to make that perfect pitch, has taken the count full.
By the way, pretty good backhand catch on that fastball by Lieberthal to keep the runner from getting to third base. This is about station-to-station baseball here in this 8th inning. Now playing small ball right now. The 3-2. And he hit it to the right side. That is going to move the runner as Bobby Abreu will make the catch. Juan Pierre tagging will make it easily in the 3rd. So a good job by Cabrera to move up the runner. Time now for our Diet Pepsi fan cam, coincidentally. Hey, take a look. Yep, they're Cabrera fans. And plenty of them here in South Florida.
Oh, yeah. A popular item.
See the All-Star shirt there, a couple of the home jerseys, the batting practice jersey. Really any combination. As a fan, you can invest in one of those and know you're going to have it for a long time. So there's a big insurance run out at third base. They're going to walk Delgado now. This makes sense with the right-handed batter on deck to try to set up the double play with Jeff Conine waiting.
Yeah, you knew this was going to come. Charlie Manuel doesn't want to take any chances at all. He wants to set up a double play situation, and he knows he has right-handers to follow. Of course, until it gets to that number 8 spot.
Yeah, that's where the pitcher, Dontrell Willis, is a guy you got to worry about. The Phillies are hoping it doesn't get that far. So Delgado, who has been a force in the last week or so, gets his 14th intentional walk of the year, his 2nd walk of the game. It was his walk with the bases loaded that meant the only run of the ball game back in the 3rd. Conference time. The Phillies going to figure out how to pitch here. They know how they're playing it, looking for an inning-ending double play.
Well, it was a big strikeout for Padilla back in that 3rd inning when he got Jeff Conine with 1 out and the bases loaded, got him swinging.
Conine has had himself an 0 for 3 day today. That strikeout in the third was his second of the game. Last time up, he bounced out to third base. And there will be a pinch runner now brought in for Delgado. Carlos Delgado taking a walk back to the bench. And Juan Encarnacion will come on to pinch run for Delgado, who got the intentional walk.
Well, it's also twofold. He'll stay in, play right field. Conine will come in and play first base.
Second big shot this afternoon for Conine to drive in a run here. With first and third, one man out. First pitch from Urbina. Right there for strike one.
There's one thing when you pinch run a guy at first base. A gapper, more chance for him to score, but also if a ground ball is hit, there's a better chance for Encarnacion to get down to second base and maybe break up a possible double play.
And that, of course, with the runner at third base, could mean a run. Target is inside. And the 0-1 right there for strike two. Conine wearing the sunglasses on what's been a bright day. The sky's kind of clouded over a bit. Urbina is ready. And the 0-2. Hit in the air on the right side. It's fairly shallow. Abreu's going to line himself up. Pierre's going to try to score. Here comes a big throw to the plate. And it is up the line. Pierre scores on a sacrifice fly by Jeff Conine. And the Marlins pick up a huge insurance run. It's now a 2-0 game here in the 8th inning.
Pretty good battle by the veteran Jeff Conine to get that ball deep enough to score Juan Pierre. Urbina trying to go outside. He did, but he got it up a little bit. This was a good matchup because Abreu has a strong arm. Just a little bit offline, and Pierre with that head-first slide.
That throws on the plate. You got a very close play at the plate. As it is, the Marlins pick up the insurance run. And the batter will be LaDuca. Over to first base as they chase Encarnacion back. Jeff Conine knocking in his 67th career run against the Phillies. Here's Dontrelle Willis. Paul LaDuca 0 for 3 on the afternoon. There goes the runner. Take it for a strike. The throw down to second is not in time. Encarnacion got in underneath the tag of Jimmy Rollins.
Once again, taking advantage of the slow delivery to the plate of Uguet Urbina. The high leg kick. The good jump. The throw is there, but a little bit late.
That is only the 4th stolen base of the year for Juan Encarnacion. But it's very clear that the Marlins believe they can run on Urbina. One more in scoring position with 2 down. The 0-1 pitch. This is wide with a fastball, 1-1.
This is where Paul LaDuca is at his absolute finest. Hitting over 300 with runners in scoring position.
Todd Jones is warming now in the Marlins bullpen. As they sit on this 2-0 lead. If you were to get down to Willis's spot, what do you do? I guess you let him hit. It's a foul ball off the right side. Well, it's going to be the Yankees visiting the Red Sox or other games with playoff implications. On October the 1st, MLB on Fox returns in 2 weeks at 1 p.m. Eastern. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area.
Got a feeling that's going to go down to the wire.
Sure looks like it. Yankees have played better ball of late and made up a lot of ground on the Boston Red Sox. Swing and a miss by LaDuca. And that's going to do it for the inning. But the Marlins tack on a run. We are going to the ninth here in Florida with the Marlins on top 2-0. Dontrelle Willis, Major League Baseball's leader in shutouts, is going for another, which would be his 6th of the year. We go to the ninth. He's got a 2-0 lead. His old buddy Jimmy Rollins bounces one foul back to the screen. Strike one. Rollins, a hit streak on the line right here.
Pitch number 111 for Dontrelle Willis. And who other than Jimmy Rollins he goes after in this 9th inning.
The 0-1 chopped on the ground into left field. The hit streak lives. Jimmy Rollins now a 23-game hitting streak. He takes the big turn at first base. And Willis allows the base runner that will get the tying run to the plate.
Just a solid swing, the high hopper. No chance for Mike Lowell, who has to play in just to guard from a possible bunt from Jimmy Rollins. That ball gets into left field.
23-game hitting streak, 3 shy of the Phillies' all-time record. And Jason Michaels looks at a ball outside. As we said, a lot of pitches for Dontrelle Willis in this one. Michaels is 0 for 3. Michaels rips one into the crowd right by the tarp on the left side.
Todd Jones is ready in the Marlins bullpen, and I think he'd probably be ready for Pat Burrell.
One is down low, 2-1 to Michaels.
Dontrelle Willis has handled Bobby Abreu this afternoon. Struck him out 3 times. He's on deck.
And Willis missing high and wide again, so Michaels will be very selective with this pitch now. Ahead in the count, 3 balls and 1 strike with Abreu behind him on deck. The 3-1 outside, ball 4. So the tying runs are on now. Still nobody out here in the 9th inning. That's the first walk of the afternoon for Dontrelle Willis.
Paul LaDuca was set up inside. Even if that's a borderline pitch, you're not going to get the call because he had to reach for it on the outer part.
Well, you talked about it. 113 pitches now, 2 base runners. You got the left-handed bat here right now. So you're not going to make a move as yet. Then you've got the right-handed batting Pat Burrell next. That's going to be the decision for Jack McKeon. Bobby Abreu was punched out 3 times today facing Willis. Came into the game a 300 hitter against him lifetime. He shows bunt and bunts it foul.
A lot of times you don't see managers try to bunt for a tie on the road. But Bobby Abreu, whether he did it on his own or not, we don't know.
Very rarely have we ever seen Bobby Abreu square to bunt in a situation like that. He does bring Lowell in a little closer at third base now with that bunt attempt. And that one is hit hard and over the glove of Castillo into right field. Jimmy Rollins is going to score. Jason Michaels around at third. And the Phillies are on the board with the tying run 90 feet away on what could have been a double play ball that went over the glove of Luis Castillo.
This is one of the fastest infields in baseball. Very hard. And that ball skipped past Luis Castillo.
So it is going to be an error. And Castillo's got to be feeling it right now. Dontrelle Willis is going to get a huge ovation for his 8+ innings of 1-run baseball. But he is going to leave. And one of the best stories for the Marlins this year, Todd Jones will come on to try to put this one away for Florida. Marlins hang on to a 1-run lead here in the ninth. Todd Jones facing Pat Burrell. First and third, nobody out in a 1-run game here in the 9th inning. Andy Chavez has replaced Bobby Abreu as the pinch runner at first. Abreu was hit in the leg with a throw last night, and that leg has been sore. So the Phil's banking on, if there's something to happen here, that Chavez would be able to have a little bit more speed around the bases. Pat Burrell skies one in the air into shallow center field. Michael's going to set himself. Pierre coming on, lets it fall. And now can't pick it up. And everybody is safe. A little pop-up to shallow center field. And Juan Pierre can't make the play as the Phillies tie up this ball game. Give Pat Burrow an RBI on a pop fly single to center.
Well, miscommunication because Luis Castillo never made an effort for the ball. He initially thought this ball is Juan Pierre's all the way. Playing deep with Burrow up there. By the time he got there, no chance at all on a ball that could have been caught by Luis Castillo.
Well, Castillo, who's had himself a roller coaster ride of an inning along with Pierre now. The Phils have the opportunity to take the lead here. Dontrelle Willis going to get a no decision. Or potentially still a loss in this ball game. He can no longer win it. Chase Utley 0 for 3, all of it facing Willis today, but now he's got Todd Jones with first and second and nobody out. And he's showing bunt. There's team baseball right there. The sacrifice is thrown away. And the Phillies are going to take the lead. On another defensive misplay by the Marlins, 3 of them in a row here in the 9th inning. It's all gotten away that quickly from Florida. The Phillies inspired in the dugout. Jack McKeon can only look on, as can Dontrelle Willis.
Well, you've heard the term total meltdown, and that's exactly what's happening to the Marlins here in this inning. Luis Castillo, Todd Jones, and the Phillies have the lead. And Dontrelle, after his performance today, could get the loss.
Which is incredible. So I believe it's a sacrifice error pitcher. Well, they're calling it a single. And then the error on the pitcher. And now Shane Victorino will come on to run for Pat Burrow. Todd Jones has blown a save against a National League opponent for the first time since April 16th. And in a lot of ways, it could have been different.
Yeah, and it's a tough blown save because he came in with runners at first and third and nobody out. Had a bloop that could have been caught, should have been caught, and then threw one away himself.
So the Phillies with a 1-run lead, and now they've got to bring the infield into the Marlins as David Bell looks at ball 1. Two errors in the inning and a misplay on a pop-up, and the Phils have used it to manufacture 3 runs. David Bell 2 singles on the day. And Bell pops one up. That's the same spot. Shallow center field. And they can't make the play again. This is amazing. The Phillies score their 4th run as Victorino crosses the plate. It has all gone bad defensively for Florida here in this 9th inning. Still nobody out.
Amazing, unbelievable. I don't think you can find the adjectives to describe this inning. Gold Glover Luis Castillo misplaying that ball. You see him make that catch all the time. Another good pitch that gets a pop fly. Juan Pierre a long way to go, and Castillo tries the over the shoulder and can't make the catch.
2 pop fly singles in between Castillo and Pierre, and 2 errors in the inning. Phil's now with a 2-run cushion and another one sitting out there at third base with nobody out. And Mike Lieberthal looks at ball 1. Dontrelle Willis, you got to know, how did this go so bad so quickly? And Billy Wagner, who a few minutes ago looked like he had an afternoon off, now might very well have a save opportunity. It's amazing.
Marlins fans here at Dolphin Stadium shaking their heads. Cannot believe what they've seen.
The interesting and ironic part about this is that this is what the Marlins used to do to the Phillies. And Lieberthal wraps one into center field. That's going to be a base hit. And it'll bring in the 5th run of this 9th inning for the Phillies. Chase Utley scores the RBI single for Lieberthal. It's now 5-2 Phils. That team is fired up right now.
This is one of those innings you want to call a 30-second timeout.
He had it set up as the Marlins every way that you wanted. You had Willis, a 2-run lead, and Todd Jones behind him, who converted 27 straight saves. But you want to put the fault on the pitchers, you really can't necessarily do that, although Jones did make a throwing error. Well, these fans are stunned here in South Florida right now. And with still nobody out in the 9th inning, it'll be the 8th hitter of the inning. Ron Vallone is getting up, but Ryan Howard is already up as the pinch hitter in the batter's box.
And Scott, seeing the Marlins consistently throughout the year, there are plays that they normally make.
It was swing and a miss by Howard. 1 for 5 as a pinch hitter, but a .287 hitter on the year. Howard has been hot with the power numbers here in the month of September. Wraps one on the ground and right through the 5-hole on Conine. This is just not ending for the Florida Marlins. Another run scores, and the Phillies now with a 4-run lead. Still nobody out. This is one of the biggest defensive meltdowns in one inning I've ever seen.
You know, when you see something like this happen, it's one of those things that they always say, you come to the ballpark, you're going to see something for the first time that you've never seen before. And this is it.
That is incredible.
The move made for defense. Encarnacion came in to go to right field. Conine moving in from right field to first base. 2 gold gloves for Luis Castillo.
And Mark Wiley going to go out to talk it over with Todd Jones now, as Michael Tucker has been called out as a pinch hitter for the Phillies. But when you take a look at this, it's going to be nothing but smiles in there. The Phillies dugout's got nothing but smiles. We talked about the Florida Marlins' outright dominance of the Phillies between 2003 and September of last year. At one point, they won 14 in a row against the Phillies here in this ballpark, and 23 out of 26. And since that time, the Phillies have beaten the Marlins 15 times. The Marlins haven't lost to any other team more than they've lost to the Phillies since last September.
You know, it's one of those things, too, that's kind of gone back and forth, because you take it even further back, and there was a huge 5-game series in 01 or 02 that the Marlins went into Philadelphia and lost all 5 games.
Marlins will try to get it straight as we take a break. The Phillies have batted around here in the 9th inning, and the Marlins still haven't retired a hitter. And the new pitcher, Ron Vallone, facing the pinch hitter, Michael Tucker. 6 runs across for the Phillies here in the 9th inning. If you just joined us, Florida had a 2-0 lead. Dontrelle Willis going for the complete game and shutout on the mound. 73-1 when leading after 8 this year. And Tucker finds a hole into right field. They're going to hold the runners, so it will be bases loaded and right back to the top of the order. But once again, if you just joined us, here is how this nightmare of an inning has gone for Florida. Bobby Gray of the base hit. They put runners at first and third. And that's when the weird things started happening.
Well, a shallow pop fly by Pat Burrell. Castillo wasn't there. Pierre couldn't get it. A sacrifice attempt, and Todd Jones throws it away. How about David Bell? Same spot, the Bermuda Triangle. Then a ball right through the wickets under the glove of Jeff Conine at first base. An absolute nightmare for the Florida Marlins here in the 9th inning.
You're talking about some guys, as you pointed out, defensively as strong as you can get. Infield drawn in for Rollins, who started this off with a single to extend his hitting streak to 23 games. And he punches one through the drawn-in infield. 1 run scores, and the 2nd run will cross. It is now an 8-run 9th inning for the Phillies.
And now you get to the point where things get kind of ridiculous. The ball hit off the end of the bat. but with the infield in, it finds its way into center field. So Jimmy Rollins with 2 hits here in this inning. There's the little squibber past the mound, but with the infield drawn in, 2 RBIs for Rollins.
Todd Jones, who's had so much success this year, can only look on. Marlins still trying to get it out in the inning, and Jason Michaels looking at a fastball up high.
That's the other amazing thing. There still hasn't been an out recorded.
This is the 11th batter here in the inning. One ball and 1 strike. Jimmy Rollins had himself a pedestrian day, 0 for 3, but this inning he's 2 for 2 with a run and 2 RBIs.
Well, and has extended that hitting streak to 23 games.
Wagner had been up, but now in a 6-run game, Aaron Fultz is up. Jason Michaels 0 for 3, did draw a walk, however, to keep this 9th inning alive and keep it going in the early going before any of the mistakes started for Florida. And he fouls one off.
You talk about a strange feeling when you're a player and you're out there on the field and this stuff starts to happen. These are the few times you hope the ball isn't hit to you.
Todd Jones faced 5 batters, gave up 5 runs, 4 earned. Two is fouled back. You've been part of a lot of baseball teams and around a lot of baseball teams over the years. Is this one of those could have a very lasting effect on this Marlins team?
Absolutely. Absolutely, without question. If the Marlins are able to regroup and scramble back and get into the wild card hunt after this.
One's outside. The other question is the converse true? Could this have a lasting effect as a springboard for the Phillies?
It works both ways.
They were absolutely electric in there as this inning started happening. But now it's just gone way over the top. And a called 3rd strike on Jason Michaels, and there is your first out of this 9th inning. And sarcastic applause here from the Marlins fans.
I think the other thing for Philadelphia, by doing it against Dontrelle Willis in a game that he started and was in command most of the game.
It's got to be a tough feeling. Not just watching it get away, but watching it get away the way it did. First pitch in for a strike to Andy Chavez. His first at bat after coming out as a pinch runner for Bobby Abreu here in the 9th. So the Phillies looking to stay there with the Astros, who play later at home against Milwaukee. One ball and 1 strike. Chavez a .211 hitter on the year. Came over in a trade earlier this season from the Washington Nationals. Deal that sent former Phillies prospect Marlon Byrd to Washington. And there's a line drive into center field for a base hit. And they're going to wave the runner. The throw to the infield is way up the line. Ryan Howard scores the Phillies' 9th run, and Jimmy Rollins will take 3rd on the RBI single for Chavez. So that is going to be not only a single and an RBI, but that's going to be the 4th error of the inning on the Florida Marlins.
Well, now it's just gotten flat out sloppy for Jack McKeon's ball club.
Going to be another pitching change here. The nightmare continues for Florida here in the 9th. Randy Messenger comes on. He is the 4th pitcher this inning for the Florida Marlins. It's what's seeming like Groundhog Day to Jack McKeon in this series and in recent games against the Phillies.
Well, in this inning, we've written down E4, E1, E3, and E8.
Unbelievable. Shane Victorino lifts one in the air to center field. Guess what? and likely will be another run. Pierre had to battle that all the way looking into the sun, and Rollins will score easily. We had talked about in the last 4 games the Phillies have been averaging 10 runs a game against the Marlins. What we didn't realize is they would get 10 in 1 inning.
You know, the way things were going, you saw Juan Pierre staggering, battling the sunshine. You almost expected him to lose it in the sun.
1-61 this year when trailing after 8 innings for the Phillies, but now they've got an 8-run lead. As the Marlins have been subjected to a bring on the dancing Bears inning, but nothing funny or entertaining about it for the folks here in South Florida. And Chase Utley, the hitter now. He's got a hit and a run scored in this inning. The 14th hitter to bat this inning. Messenger pitched here last night, one of 8 different Marlins pitchers who got into that game.
Well, we talked about the Marlins bullpen last night in 4 innings. Gave up 10 hits and 11 runs.
And Utley hits one back to the box. Messenger makes a good glove hand play. And the nightmare finally ends for Florida. For the Phillies, everything worked out in the inning. Rollins extends the hit streak. The Phils send 14 to the plate, scoring 10 times to take command here in South Florida. Well, if you walked away for a few minutes, you got to be wondering what happened. The Phillies just sent 14 men to the plate. Juan Pierre, one of 4 Marlins errors in the top of the 9th inning as the Phils scored 10. And Aaron Foltz now in to try to close things out for the Phillies. His 55th appearance of the year. As you can see the numbers, he's done a good job out of the Phillies bullpen. And Mike Lowell swings at the first pitch, pops it up. Ryan Howard, who came on as a pinch hitter, stayed in defensively, and he makes that catch in front of Mike Lieberthal for out number 1. You take a look back. What's the key play of that 9th inning?
Well, you look at the inning. Bobby Abreu hits this ball hard. If Luis Castillo makes the play, it's a double play. And all of a sudden there are 2 out. There'd be a man at third base. So if you walked away and thought Dontrell Willis had this game in hand, you haven't watched baseball, because crazy things happen in this game.
I don't know that we've seen many this crazy. They say the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Well, in this case, that journey of 1,000 miles, or 10 runs, began with the first misstep. So now here's Josh Willingham coming on. 2 for 5 as a pinch hitter this year. Now the Marlins like Willingham. Good-looking young player.
Good swing. He can catch. It's a position that he probably would not be an everyday catcher, but a good guy to have on a ball club because of the way he swings the bat. How about other teams around the major leagues checking on scoreboards and all of a sudden looking up and seeing a 10 spot at the top of the 9th for the Phillies?
Pitch on the outside corner. You saw that dugout, assuming that this is not a miracle comeback waiting to happen for the Marlins. This is going to be a tough one to sit with until tomorrow night. Now it is inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count out of Willingham.
Well, Jack McKeon has struggled with his rotation, and Dontrell Willis and Josh Beckett have been the most consistent over the last few weeks.
Boy, are they leaning on Beckett for a big game tomorrow night. So 3-2 the count. And that one is inside as Aaron Foltz loses Willingham. And the Marlins get their first base runner here in the bottom of the 9th. Today's Chevrolet player of the game is none other than Jimmy Rollins, who extended right here his hit streak to 23 games. Ended up knocking in 2 runs and scoring in the 9th inning as well. A pair of runs. Recognition of his outstanding play. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Chevy, an American revolution.
And for 8 innings, it looked like his buddy Dontrell Willis would be the player of this game.
Oh, there was no doubt about it. He was coasting going into that 9th inning. Swing and a miss by Robert Andino. No balls and 2 strikes to the Marlins shortstop.
It's been a nice day for the 21-year-old Robert Andino. He's made a couple of neat plays out there at short. Got himself his first major league hit, a double.
Looks at a ball.
And you know what? In 20 years, he'll remember his first major league hit, and he'll also remember the top of the 9th inning in this game.
A swing and a miss. Down he goes for out number 2. What he's going to remember is something that has never happened in Philadelphia Phillies history. 10 runs in the 9th inning. It's the first time it has happened in Phillies history, and it happens here this afternoon.
And that has been a long, long history. Wow. It's just not one of those things you go into the dugout and say, hey, let's get 10.
Luis Castillo. Tough day out in the field. A little bit of redemption with a single and a left. Putting 2 men on with 2 men out.
And also, Scott, the worst outing of the year for a guy who has gotten the Marlins to this point of the season. Todd Jones, their closer. He faced 5 batters, gave up 4 hits, 5 runs, 4 of those earned, and he made an error himself.
Literally anything that could go wrong for the Marlins did go wrong, and the Phillies, to their credit, pushed right on through the door, went roaring through it. First pitch high to Juan Pierre. Two balls and no strikes to count to Pierre. The infield single, a walk, a stolen base, and a run today. That group over there in the Phillies dugout has seen this team do some incredible things this year. Today they did it with a great deal of help from the opposition. And a strike to Pierre.
Well, they've done it with the mild-mannered, even-tempered Charlie Manuel.
That has been a big part of this team staying on an even keel all year long. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Juan Pierre. There are some Phillies fans here, and they're making noise now, asking for the end of this game. And Pierre keeps it alive, flicking one away.
If the score holds the same, the last 9 games that the Marlins and Phillies have matched up, Phillies have gone 7-2 and outscored the Marlins 90-43.
Astounding. 2-2 line drive. That'll make it into right field for a hit. They're going to hold the runner at third base as Jason Michaels, who's in right field, fires it back in. Well, you're down 8. Well, you're staying alive here in a bases loaded situation. You do have a thumper coming up here in Miguel Cabrera. All you can do right now is swing and hope if you're Florida.
Just keep swinging and try to find some holes if you're the Florida Marlins.
Cabrera looks at ball 1 outside.
And Cabrera's done a lot of swinging this year. He's second in the National League with 185 base hits. Or some big power numbers as well.
That ball hit on the ground sharply, and that should be it. And it is it. An incredible come-from-behind win for the Phillies here this afternoon as they beat the Florida Marlins in a 3-hour, 2-minute game by a score of 10-2. A 10-run 9th inning, the first in club history. As the Phillies win it, with Gander Bina the win, Dontrell Willis the loss. Promotional considerations paid for by the following. AutoZone, Bank of America, and the rest. Well, for more information on today's ball game and for the latest information on Major League Baseball, log on to foxsports.com, powered by MSN. So for Tommy Hutton, I'm Scott Graham saying so long from South Florida. You've been watching Fox Sports, home of the 2005 Major League Baseball postseason and World Series.